Power Rangers, lost galaxy, far, far away, deep in space, to a galaxy unknown. There lies the key to the answers and the power you will know. Power Rangers, go! Hey Wolfpack, Cat's back with another surprise tier list stream, doing one on one of the greatest Power Rangers seasons of all time, The Lost Galaxy. Yep, this is easily one of my top 5 favorite Power Rangers seasons ever. I'm first. Hi Anime Night, making sure you guys hear me. Let's see, looks like the microphone works. Good. Hi Cat. Hey Akira. So, Lost Galaxy. Yep, we decided to go back since I do not like Ninja Storm, and we're going to talk about Lost Galaxy instead because it is one of my favorite Power Ranger seasons of all time. Has the greatest villainess ever, has some of the greatest Power Rangers ever, the coolest action, one of the greatest theme songs ever, and a really dark, dead serious story arc, which actually fully paid off. I really love Lost Galaxy. It is one of my favorite seasons. Obviously, Time Force is a lot better, and I will not argue that Dino Thunder is also a lot better, but this is easily one of my favorites of all time. Has my favorite Rangers, my favorite villainous, some of the coolest action, and real dark, mature storytelling for Power Rangers. And don't forget a former villain turned hero. Yep, Astronema comes back. This season was a part of my middle school routine along with Kids WB and Toonami. Hey Ira, glad you made it. Talking about Lost Galaxy, we're gonna finally do a tier list for the Galactic Rangers. Really loved this season. I binge watched it all. It is free on YouTube right now. All the Saban era and the first era of the Disney shows are all free on YouTube. I think the only ones not on YouTube are the ones owned by Netflix and Nickelodeon because Viacom are douches. By the way, Cat, before Ryan Reynolds was Green Lantern, it was Jack Black was Green Lantern, but it was scrapped. That's stupid. I'm glad it was scrapped. So, Lost Galaxy have Bulk, but not Skull. Bulk and Professor Phenomenus are on here. They're kind of just guest stars. They do not have a main character slot like they did in all the Zordon-era shows. The Charlie Brown Rangers. Yeah, those uniforms are supposed to look like animal fangs, their teeth. They're kind of like mystic animal heroes, but came out looking more like Charlie Brown's shirt, so yeah, that is pretty funny. So, for those of you who don't know, Lost Galaxy is the first start of the standalone Power Ranger seasons. They were their own thing, focusing on new groups of heroes, this time distancing themselves from Zordon's era. Not entirely because the Space Rangers did guest star, and Astronema does come back. She's on this tier list too, so yeah. Basically, it was connected as a whole to the Power Rangers universe, but it was its own thing. You did not have to familiarize with too much continuity from this point onward. And at this season, the Power Rangers are grown-ass adults. Yep, they're actually not teenagers with attitude this time. They are grown-ass adults. They all have jobs. They're all treated like adults. They all have to grow up and they have responsibilities. I say adult very loosely because obviously they could act like kids, but they were still pretty much responsible adults who had to learn and grow up fast. I heard the Skull actor left to attend school. Yeah, he did. Skull has like a cameo for like a few seconds, and then he goes back to sleep. He missed the TerraVenture flight. Lost Galaxy also began like its own theme. Technically In Space did this first, but here we actually explore space. Here the Galactic Rangers are all boarding a space colony vessel called TerraVenture. They're exploring unknown galaxies, hence the title Lost Galaxy. TerraVenture is heading off into the regions unknown of dark space, only to chance upon the villainous Scorpius and Trakina, who are evil villains of the Insect Empire, who try to destroy TerraVenture because the Power Rangers accidentally steal superpowered MacGuffins from under their claws and become the Power Rangers, where the villains of this season are Space Invaders, evil insect-human hybrid aliens, Trakina down here, and her father Scorpius. They're the main villains of this season, and the true threats to the Power Rangers of this arc. Like Animal Rangers in space. Yeah, that is what they are. They're pretty much Animal Rangers. Here, kind of a Star Wars-esque mythology type of season. They're old-fashioned, sword in the stone, Arthurian heroes. One of the characters can talk to animals, beautiful aliens, kick-ass space adventures, and unlike in space, we actually left Earth. Yeah, that's kind of funny thinking that. This one actually did leave the Earth, went to explore space, fight aliens. Most of the monsters are alien generals who serve Scorpius or Trakeena, help them on their war against space and conquering the galaxy, basically. They're fighting galactic warlords this time who are insect-themed. Love Trakeena, and her dad Scorpius is pretty badass. We'll talk about them eventually, but yeah. We have our main rangers, a red, a yellow, a pink, a green, and a blue, and the awesome 6th Ranger here, the Magna Defender, who some people like to call the Batman Ranger, for obvious reasons, but yeah, got a lot of great characters. First, Robot Empire and Insect Empire. What's next? Vampire Empire? Still hasn't happened yet. By the way, Cat, Saw 11 is canceled, so no Saw Traps tier list. And I wasn't going to do that anyway because I haven't watched Spiral, the Book of Saw. So, I really loved Lost Galaxy. It is a fun show, really dark and mature at times, but still has its lighthearted moments, has some of my favorite Rangers here, and the best villainess of all time is in this show. And it had some very good story arcs, very good monsters, got all the monsters of the week, and some old faces you might have seen from the past Zordon era on here. Gonna be ranking them all on this tier list, so I do have to explain if this is your first tier list ever. I'm going to be ranking all the characters down here and putting them into slots up here from best to worst. Up top, we have Galactic. These are the S tier, the 10 out of 10s, the masterpieces, the best characters of not just Lost Galaxy, but Power Rangers history. And we might actually be seeing a lot up here considering how awesome Lost Galaxy is. Then we have Magna Successor. These are definitely A tier. They're fun, they're good, had a lot going for them. Were definitely huge faces on the show, but not quite historical badass Power Ranger characters like the S tiers are. But they're good, but not great. Then we have Beta Bug. These ones are okay, they're the meh, had some good but an equal amount of bad. They were just kind of underutilized, didn't lay their mark, or weren't as great as the show thought they were. We're putting them on Beta, they are square in the middle, they are the mediocre faces. Then down here we have Villamax Trainee. These ones had some potential, but ended up kind of forgettable. They're just weak, they're lame, they're not the ones you talk about. They had some going for them, had a good episode or a funny joke or good character moment here and there. Definitely were memorable, but not super awesome. We're putting them down here. It's pretty much a C tier. Then, rock bottom, we have Dud Bug. These were bad, these were lames, these are characters I totally forgot. We'll probably be seeing mostly monsters of the week down here if they didn't do that great, but yeah, you get the idea. They're the bad ones, the Dud Bugs. So when are we having a James Gunn movie tier list? Gotta wait for his Superman movie, Akira. We gotta see how that one does first. Let's start in alphabetical order of heroes first, then the villains. Okay. We kind of don't really have a method of doing this. We start with the Red Ranger and the Big Bad first, but I usually do kind of whatever. It's just a tier list, not a serious video, so it doesn't matter. But yeah, you get the idea. I'm gonna rank them all best to worst. So, sorry, just waiting for some people to show up. We might bump off some monsters of the week because I like to get those out of the way before people show up. But let's start this list with our traditional one. Our Red Ranger, the main character, the leader, the hero of the saga, Leo. Leo, going into Galactic, this is one of my favorite Red Rangers ever. I mentioned him a couple times in the past Ranger tier list, but Leo is awesome. Leo is pretty much a complete loser nobody. He's not good at anything. He's not chosen by his Quasar Saber to become a Red Ranger. Leo actually had to train, work hard, and earn his position of Red Ranger, and it is a great classic hero's journey. His rise to greatest hero ever, from nobody to badass hero, from zero to hero, you get the idea. start with the Rangers first. It's fun to kind of get some monsters out of the way. Yeah, Danny Slavin played Leo. So, putting aside Danny Slavin's history fighting with the producers of Power Rangers, I do think his Red Ranger is one of the best characters ever. I did not get their morphed forms this time so people can recognize their faces better, because these are honestly the sexiest Power Rangers we've ever had, both women for male fans like me, and the guys like Leo clearly here, flexing his muscles there. Clearly some pretty faces for the women too. Just like that. Slavin has practiced the martial arts of Kuk Sool-Won for many years. That explains why he looks so badass. So, Leo's our kick-ass Red Ranger. Leo is a complete nobody, and that's what makes you kind of like him. He wants to do good, he wants to be a hero, he wants to answer the call, but the call isn't coming for him. If you don't know the series, Leo is pretty much a bum. He's like on the streets. He's trying to book a ride onto Terra Venture. He helps saves an old lady from some ghetto thugs, proving he has a good heart, but he's also kind of a trickster because he managed to steal back the things the thugs beat him up over. Go, Galactic! Hey, Shadow Link, you made it just in time. We're starting with Leo, who is Galactic, because he is awesome. Leo is pretty much a complete nobody. He's a loser. He's washed up. Nobody likes him. His brother Mike is the true ace hero everyone looks up to. Leo's little brother of, like, their chief of security, Mike. His big brother is the one who got to go on Terra Venture, while he was sort of left behind. But Leo wants to achieve his destiny, thinks he's meant for something more, wants to do good in this universe. He pretty much abandons his Earth life because he has nothing, and he stows away on board the Terra Venture, where he runs afoul with the other Power Rangers. So, Leo was not selected by the Quasar Saber to become the Ranger. If you don't know, the Quasar Sabers are these super-powered, like, knight swords. They're swords in the stone, and only a true hero can lift them out of the stone. And of course, the Rangers lift them out, except Mike is the one who was going to be the Red Ranger. Mike, Leo's brother down here. Mike is pretty much the real badass, the ace hero, the one who feels more like a leader Red Ranger type of character. Mike actually pulled his Quasar Saber out. However, during a fight with Furio, Mike is killed in action. Mike dies and passes on the saber to Leo. Leo unlocks the Red Ranger power because apparently the powers do work for him as it was passed on by a blood relative. And Leo pretty much spends the entire series earning his Red Ranger mantle. Yep, Leo's an underrated Red Ranger. Love his character arc throughout the series. Like, can Danny be on the MCU, or is he retired? I think Danny Slavin is retired. He became a lawyer. I do know he walked away from acting a while back. Only comes out to do like, Power Ranger guest spots. Hi, I'm a bit late. What did I miss? Not much. We're on our Red Ranger, Leo. I just introduced the basic premise of the show. Hi there, just got back from Wolf's review. Hope you liked it, just some random guy. Wolf really liked that episode. Leo is actually immediately fawned after by Kendrix. Well, have you looked at him? He's this cute bad boy. That is kind of Leo's demeanor. He's a bad boy rebel without a cause. He's the hot guy. All the women like him. Kendrix clearly crushes on him. I think Maya also crushes on him too, because Leo and Maya spend a lot more time together than he does with Kendrix. And there's a lot of fanfics about Leo and Trakina ending up together, which is kind of hilarious. So, Bloodline. Yeah, pretty much Akira. The sword went on to the next of blood. Mike, quote-unquote, died. We find out there's more to this, but Mike had to pass on the Quasar Saber to Leo, and Leo spends the entire series earning his mantle, proving he's grown up, proving that he is a worthy Red Ranger, pretty much earning the title. He's working hard, he's practicing, he's learning from his mistakes. Leo is a total immature slacker punk kid at first, but as it goes on, he goes through like a Luke Skywalker journey, becoming better, training his skills, listening to his friends, becoming the true Red Ranger he was meant to be. Yeah, I did also surprised that he didn't point out that the teacher was missing something. Yeah, Wolf doesn't read the books, though. Also, Super Sentai made a new animal-themed series with a Red Wolf Ranger, but no English dub, Kersey remaking Power Rangers. They do animals all the time. Leo is the lion. Damon is a condor. I thought he was a dragon. Kai is a gorilla. Kendrix is a wildcat. And Maya is a noble wolf. They are animal-themed rangers for the first time. This actually beat Wild Force by actually having the Megazords be animals who morph with the Power Rangers, the Galactabeasts. They are actually giant kaiju space animals who are connected to the Quasar power. They're chosen and become friends with their animals. Leo befriends the lion. Much better and more heartwarming than... what was his name? I'm trying to remember the Wild Force Red Ranger. Yeah, I forgot his name. Cole Evans, yeah. Cole and the lion, I did not like their relationship as well. Leo and his mountain lion have much more tighter kinship, and Leo befriends him very fast. I'm still waiting for the Super Sentai doing vampires. Haven't done it yet. Yeah, Jungle Fury changed the lion to a tiger. These animal motifs were very unusual. Yeah, they were trying to make the Galactic Rangers more akin to like nature heroes. They're space cosmic heroes. They befriend animals, are in tune with nature, and explore the regions of space. It is kind of a bit all over the place at first, but Lost Galaxy did eventually find its groove. Anyways, I really like Leo. He has some of the best episodes. Basically, he's trying to mature, trying to become a great Red Ranger. He actually has a lot of insecurities, doesn't listen to his friends at first, but slowly but surely befriends everyone. We see him form odd friendships. He gets along with Damon. Kendrix clearly crushes on him. I'm fairly certain he and Maya also have romantic chemistry. He and Maya hang out a lot, but I think it's mostly because they're both the outcasts on Terra Venture. And Kai is the last one who slowly but surely becomes friends with Leo by the end of the season. Kai is the more uptight by the book cop, while Leo's a loose cannon, and Kai also might have a crush on Kendrix, but Kendrix is into Leo. Stupid Leo with his sexy bad boy good looks, his charm, and buff muscles. I'm waiting for them to do military-based rangers. Lightspeed doesn't count. Lightspeed so counts. I guess Time Force might also count because they're cops, but yeah, a bit more loose with that one. The line seems to be very common with Red Rangers and Dragons too, because the lion is the king of the jungle, so it makes sense for the leader to be the king. It's said that Lost Galaxy and Wild Force are connected. Oh, it's sad, yeah. They are, because Leo shows up in the Forever Red crossover. We do see the Quasar Sabers and all. We need an all Red Rangers tier list. I have not watched Cosmic Fury at all. I do not have any interest. Is there a hottest Power Rangers female character tier list? Funny you should mention that, Akira. I do have something in the works regarding that, but we'll tease that for later. Lightspeed Rescue, they're basically just civilian contractors. They were rescue heroes, okay, Moonwing? Anyways, Leo, he is badass. Basically, his brother Mike comes back. We find out Mike isn't dead. Leo questions his place as a leader, as the Red Ranger, believing that the Sword preferred Mike over him. Leo basically rebuilds his self-confidence, starts training, and it leads to a very badass final battle with the main villain, Trakina. Leo goes from pretty much getting his butt whooped by thugs in episode 1 to facing the greatest galactic conqueror of the stars. Trakina morphs into like her final form, and it leads to Leo's most badass moment, where he uses his badass superpowered armor to hook Trakina and blast her with an explosive at point blank range. He like suicide bombs both himself and Trakina, and it cracks his visor. We see the Red Ranger helmet gets destroyed for the first time ever, and we see Leo's innocent blue eyes there through the visor. It is a very epic moment, and it pretty much solidified why I really like Leo as a Red Ranger, because it shows how far he's come since episode 1, basically sacrificing himself for the greater good. He kills Trakina, they blow her up until she'll come back in the Lightspeed Rescue crossover, and Leo emerges victorious, badly burned in his destroyed Red Ranger armor, but perfectly fine. I'm talking about actual military-themed Rangers with camouflage suits, Zords based on military vehicles like tanks and helicopters. Yeah, I get that, I was just joking around. Cosmic Fury was boring and plain bad. Yeah, I heard everyone said that. What I meant was how both had ancient animal Zords now involve 3,000 years. Yeah, that did kind of happen on Lost Galaxy too. The Quasar powers have been around since the dawn of time, according to Maya. So yeah, the Quasar Sabers get passed on to new Rangers every generation. They choose their heroes and they have to fight for good. Lightspeed Rescue, Law Enforcement, SBD before it was SBD, the Rangers team. I guess SBD counts as a military ranger team. They do mention they are Time Force adjacent, though. Since the Japanese version have more Rangers than Cosmic Fury, but Billy returns and Lord Zed, but when he is separated by the evil side ending in space, yeah, that is kind of why Cosmic Fury sucks. They broke a lot of continuity in Power Ranger history. Like, Lord Zed is back, but he was cured of his evil back in space when the Zordon wave wiped over him. Yeah, wouldn't he and Rita be like a normal couple by this time? Also, Billy coming back was kind of pointless. He's the mentor figure, and I know everyone loves Billy and Jason from Mighty Morphin. However, if you're like me and didn't grow up in those eras, you do not understand why they're so important and why the show keeps milking focus on them. SBD was the closest thing to a police theme team. Yep, they were. I'm currently watching SBD right now, so fingers crossed if that's our next tier list. Anyway, Leo, he's galactic. He is awesome. Really love this character. Really love his arc and progression, and he is ultimately one of my favorite Red Rangers. He only made it low on my Wild Force tier list because he was barely in it, due to Danny Slavin almost not showing up. My favorite character of Cosmic Fury was J-Borg. Like Tommy came back in Ninja Steel, Tommy also came back in Super Mega Force. So yeah, make of that what you will. Anyways, Leo, he's galactic, one of my favorite Red Rangers ever. Perfect zero to hero origin story, great Red Ranger, total badass. The women love him and men want to be him. He is definitely a galactic badass. Speaking of which, let's finally talk about Trakeena, the main villain of Lost Galaxy. So, fun fact, Trakeena was not the original villain of Lost Galaxy. Her dad, King Scorpius here, was the real leader of the Empire. However, in a twist of fate, Scorpius died halfway through the series, meaning Trakeena was his next in his bloodline to take over, where Trakeena forges herself into the ultimate Power Ranger villain. And she is so awesome, she's going into Galactic. Yeah, Trakeena, underrated badass Power Ranger villainess. She's hot, she's badass, she's surprisingly funny at times, and exactly like Leo, they are two sides of the same coin. Trakeena was an absolute nobody who slowly but surely forged herself into the ultimate badass villain, and one of the most dangerous threats of Power Rangers ever. She's like Sabrina done right. Yeah, really done right. My brother showed me Dino Fury and Cosmic Fury, Super Dino Fury. I didn't like or understand it. Yeah, that is understandable. Trakeena at first was just there in the background and then became more vicious and badass in the second half. One of the best female villains along with Astronema. Yeah, Astronema's washed up now. She's pretty much the replacement for Astronema as the hot, sexy, badass femme fatale space queen archetype, and a really good one. Trakeena is the daughter of Scorpius, and at first she is just a minor character. She's just sitting there in the background, she's goofing off, she's commanding her generals, basically more concerned with her looks and having fun, stirring up mischief than being an actual villain. Over time, Trakeena basically gets humbled and dethroned. She gets embarrassed. She almost gets killed multiple times by the Rangers, by Trecheron, by the Magna Defender. He almost succeeds at killing her, and this one finally makes her realize that she sucks. She's a wimp. She can't even beat up her foot soldiers or a bunch of hobos at a bar. That's how pathetic she is. Steerwoman Shalinda, Super Sentai counterpart in Gigamon, like this was her Japanese version of her. Yeah, I saw that, and she's a lot more revealing. I heard her actress is married to the Green Ranger. Yeah, Amy Miller, who plays Trakeena, actually married Damon down here, the black guy. Yeah, Damon and Trakeena actually married in real life, which makes all the scenes where they're cracking jokes about how hot Trakeena is and that she almost seduces the Rangers a lot more funnier in hindsight. What sucks in Cosmic Fury is that the Rangers did not even defeat Zed. Yeah, she is. Spoilers for Mystic Force. Also, wouldn't Zed be like Mystic Father or something, like Rita is Mystic Mother instead of being evil? Yeah, Rita and Zed's son is somehow a villain in one of the Ranger shows, and really doesn't make sense because they hooked up when they were cured by the Zordon wave, so wouldn't their baby be born normal? But whatever. Like, we have Dino Fury's Just Miraculous done right. Never watched Dino Fury. I watched Dino Thunder, but not Dino Fury. Anyways, Trakina pretty much sucks at the start. She's more concerned with her looks, but over time, she slowly but surely rises as one of the most deadly threats in Power Rangers history. Trakina undergoes a character arc similar to Leo. She's also a loser, but becomes a total badass, a complete monster, a deadly threat to the galaxy. She trains under Villamax. He's down here somewhere. Villamax trains her, and basically Trakina becomes a lot more badass. She becomes a capable warrior, a much more brilliant schemer, and pretty much puts all the other generals in their place. She takes over her father as the true villain of the series and becomes the ultimate final boss fight of this show. We don't talk about Operation Overdrive. No, we do not. Don't worry, you won't see a tier list on that, because everyone would get an F. Maybe if Turbo, that maybe Rita and Zed take care of their son off screen. Maybe. I could buy them banging since we see them share a bed in the Turbo movie, but yeah. Do you really want to think about the image of me and Zed doing it? Anyways, Trakina, pretty great character. Really like her. I actually did like her even when she was a comic relief character. One of the best episodes of Power Rangers ever is Trakina actually has the monster of the week help her steal the beauty of every woman ever to make herself hotter. She has like this evil crumb mummy monster who goes around and steals the beauty off of women so he can give it to Trakina and she could, I guess, drink it or harvest it, where she becomes a lot hotter. And yes, the montage of Trakina showing off how hot she is with a She's All That montage, it is great. It is comedy gold. And Amy Miller, very beautiful, not gonna lie. She looks hot in that silly bug armor. And when she's posing as Tracy, walking around showing how hot she is, it is one of the best moments of Power Rangers. One of the funniest episodes ever. Highly recommend Stolen Beauty. That is one of my favorite Trakina episodes, alongside her training to become badass. My waifu Trakina. Yep, she is great. She is hot too. She only becomes super evil because of the cocoon. Possibly with Deviant too. I'm here, Cat. Hey, Christopher, glad you made it. We're not super far. We're on Trakina. The terrible movie from the Turbo Rangers might be the reason for when that might have happened. Yeah, they made that canon. Likewise, she looks like a female fly monster that's based on Beelzebub from Judeo-Christian myth. They tried to go for alien insect theme. Trakina, apparently she's a half-human, half-insect hybrid, which gives a lot of nightmare fuel as to who mated with Scorpius and how that logic works, but yeah. So, Trakina, really hot, really kick-ass. She is a straight-up femme fatale. She gets more badass and becomes more of a threat to the Rangers thanks to Villamax training her. Trakina runs away from home, leading to Scorpius thinking she's in danger and ultimately getting killed by the Rangers trying to fight them to allegedly save his daughter. Scorpius dies, passes on the Empire to Trakina. Trakina vows to kill the Red Ranger and all the other Rangers for destroying her father and getting revenge, and she'll take over Terra Firma. Or no, Terra Venture. Gives me off Species vibes with Trakina, yeah. I've never thought Trakina was all that hot, except for that green insect suit, the one she had at first. Yeah, get into that, so in the finale, when Trakina returns, Deviant, her treacherous Starscream second-in-command, tries to hijack the cocoon. Scorpius made this evolution cocoon, where if you go in it, it will make you reborn into a super-powered insect monster. He wants his daughter to use it. Trakina did not want to use it because she didn't want to lose her looks. Trakina is very vain and petty. She's kind of an alpha bitch at first. She doesn't want to use the cocoon, but the cocoon is put on storage in in ice for a time being. Deviant tries to steal it, and during a fight, Trakina and Deviant both fall into the cocoon, where she comes out kind of deformed as this half-hybrid monster, and this is kind of where we get into some questionable territory. So, exactly, is this Trakina, or did Deviant actually take over Trakina's mind? It's implied that Deviant and Trakina kind of fused while in the cocoon, and her mind was altered. Trakina loses all morals, all her redeemable traits, all her likable qualities, all her very few virtues she had, and becomes this insane, cackling sociopath who now wants to kill everyone. She turns her stingwingers into suicide bombers, wants to destroy Terraventure, no longer conquering the universe but killing all life, wants to murder the Red Ranger, and doing like everything in her power, going to the extreme, trying to destroy him, destroying everything in her path. But it leads to the question, is it Trakina and her own mindset in there, or is it actually Deviant controlling her? Did Deviant get control of Trakina or fuse with her, and they became the same person? I would say kind of both. Trakina was more psychotic and more evil with Deviant's merger. Yeah, is Deviant actually in there? She says Deviant's dead, but this could very well be Deviant lying and controlling Trakina's body, and there is still a fan debate as to how much of Trakina's original persona and Deviant's is in there. She has like Deviant's weird voice, has his like weird gun hand, and has some robot appendages sticking out of her, gains these psychotic eyes, and yeah, basically she becomes a fusion monster with Deviant and herself in there, and fans are still kind of debating how much is it her free will, or is it Deviant's influence and mind controlling her? You mentioned that Tracy character. I remember how in one scene she applied lipstick and a lot of guys fought over it, I think. Yeah, that did happen. I have a video playing that exact scene coming up, Anime Night. That was a pretty funny scene. I thought it would be Catholic Jewish because that's just another name associated with Satan, not a separate demon. Yeah, Lightspeed Rescue did the more Christian Judeo mythos. Okay, Shadowlink thinks it's kind of both. Like why Trakina should have been a Mosquito Girl from One Punch Man. I kind of like the Praying Mantis Girl a lot better. It makes her more of a Black Widow. The Bible doesn't mention the name as separate. It makes you think what would have happened if Deviant didn't throw her into the cocoon. Yeah, it did. It was kind of a tragic event. So Deviant and Trakina become this weird hybrid monster. It's mostly Amy Miller, of course, but yeah, it's implied Deviant is influencing her, possibly controlling her if he isn't dead, but yeah, basically she becomes a monster, uses her stingwingers as suicide bombers, destroys Terraventure, goes to great lengths destroying everything in her path. Very clear she's psychotic. She betrays Villamax, kills him, tries to suicide crash into the Power Rangers twice, and when her ship gets knocked out of the sky, Trakina, or Trakinia, whatever you want to call the hybrid character, she finally decides to emerge with the cocoon full time. She throws herself into it and becomes reborn as this hybrid monster. Yes, her monster form is on here too. Becoming Trakina's final form, this weird knockoff species type of character. It was 90s to 2000s. I barely remember Lost Galaxy. I really liked it. Yeah, here's the final form of Trakina, the cocoon monster, who, you know, we might actually put into Galactic too. This is Trakina in her final form, her final boss mode, her insect form. Trakina sheds off her full form. Amy Miller is now voicing the character instead of acting like her, becoming this weird knockoff species Sill monster in the final fight, where she decides to use her magic to take control of Terraventure and suicide crash it into the colonists where their escape pods land, essentially. However, Leo happens to still be on board, leading to their final fight, and we see Trakina's final boss powers, and yeah, this is pretty badass. Some people actually tell me they actually still find Trakina hot in her green form. Again, she looks like the monster from Species, so that does kind of make sense. Talk about a kamikaze attack. Yeah, that was her final form. This is the final form of Trakina. She fights Leo, has a lot of cool powers, has this weird insect tail whip, crawls around the room, kind of looks like Mystique but green in her body form, and has this cool praying mantis kind of head. Really like this form. That was kick-ass. This was actually the first time I saw Trakina because my introduction to Lost Galaxy was through the Lightspeed Rescue crossover. And as you know, Power Rangers loves archive footage where we show how Leo defeated Trakina. A very epic final form and final fight. Took everything the Rangers got to defeat her. Yeah, it was an awesome final fight. Trakina's like fighting across basically the city, fighting Leo, and it takes Leo having to suicide bomb both of them. He grabs her with like one of his weird like claws on his super armor, drags her to him, and basically point blank one-shots them both to death, blowing Trakina up for good, which she somehow survived because she'll show up again in Lightspeed Rescue. Highly recommend checking out Emperor of Evil, did a tribute to her. Okay, I might check that out. Like DC animated movie ended, so is there a tier list for Batman Ninja versus Yakuza League? I do have a DC tier list planned in the making, but wanted to do this one first because I wanted to do Lost Galaxy. I was talking about her green insect suit she transformed in the early seasons. Yeah, her insect suit kind of looked like this too. It just didn't have the gross species face. It had Amy Miller's face in there, but with like a ninja mask. I do actually like that suit too. I wonder why they didn't use it often. Why Yakuza? Is it another time travel isekai story? Trakina is a better bug villain than Queen Wasp from Miraculous. Like now, the final form, dang it, Hawkmoth, you have one job. Yeah, Trakina is a badass character, so both her and her final form are here on Galactic because they are awesome. Trakina did not go out like a wuss. She went out fighting full swing, nearly murdered the Power Rangers, but Leo suicide bombed them both, and both of them somehow survived, but Trakina lost her final form and doesn't come back until the Lightspeed Rescue crossover, where she's not even Amy Miller anymore. But yeah, Trakina, both her and her final form, awesome villain, one of the greatest foes of Power Rangers history, has so much well-rounded character, a lot of growth, a lot of personality, very fun, really hot femme fatale, loved the kick-ass space queen kind of gimmick going on, and she was a total badass and a threat to the Rangers. She and Leo had one of the best final boss fights ever, so going up on Galactic, really love her. Don't worry, Christopher, your space queen is alright by me. So the villains of Lost Galaxy are bug-themed. Yeah, they're the Insect Empire. We have some other alternative characters on here, but they're mostly like their generals and monsters of the week. Scorpius and Trakina are the Insect Empire. There and their Stingwingers are the main threat. But flies are weak to mustard. Is Trakina immune to that? Well, Trakina has a lot of weird weaknesses. Alright, so let's knock off a monster of the week. Here it is. Here's the Elvis alien. Yeah, we'll put him on Dudbug. The only thing you remember about this guy is that he's a weird Elvis impersonator kind of alien. It is kind of funny, but that's all he had. He was just a one-joke kind of villain. Basically, a monster of the week, the Rangers fight and then blow up. He tried to take the Galactabeast and ended up failing, and the Rangers got their Megazords. Let's talk about the Psycho Rangers. Oh, you want to jump to that one already? Okay. Alright, let's do it. The Psycho Rangers. We're the Psycho Rangers. We're faster than you. We're smarter than you. We're stronger than you. But we're evil. The Psycho Rangers. Going on to Galactic. Guys, the Psycho Rangers are easily one of the greatest arc villains of Power Rangers ever. They were awesome on In Space, and they're awesome in their dynamic comeback in Lost Galaxy. For those of you who don't know, the Psycho Rangers were originally foes of the Space Rangers. They tried to kill Andros and his gang. They're basically evil clone copies. They're evil Power Rangers. Psychotic, if you will. Therefore, the Psycho Rangers. Deviant manages to find the Psycho Rangers' blueprints, and they're technically soul chips. He kills a merchant for them and brings them back to Trakina's base, using the technology to revive them, so the Psycho Rangers Rangers can kill this new generation of Power Rangers in the best crossover of Power Rangers ever, to the 10th Power. Yep, to the 10th Power, such an epic team up, love that. How many Psycho Rangers were there? In the shows, there's 5. No, we're not counting the Silver Psycho Ranger, he was a fake out. In the comics, there is a green Psycho Ranger, finally, but not in the main shows. That's kind of the trick there. Love these guys. S rank not only for Lost Galaxy, but in space as well. Yeah, if we do in space, the Psycho Rangers would be up here in S tier also. The pink Psycho Ranger legit killed a Ranger, so 5-star villains. Yep, they actually succeed at killing a Power Ranger. Psycho Pink kills her counterpart, Kendrix. Kendrix actually does get killed off. There's some drama and story behind that, but yeah, Kendrix's character gets killed off, meaning the Psycho Rangers actually did succeed at killing a Power Ranger. Trakeena and Deviant summon the Psycho Rangers to kill the Galactic Rangers. They nearly succeed until the Space Rangers make a comeback. I apologize, but the Space Rangers are not on this tier list. Wanted to focus on the Galactic Rangers, but the Psycho Rangers were a key part of it, so that's why they made it on. Psycho Rangers almost kill the Galactic Rangers. Leo is saved by Andros, and they recruit the Space Rangers to help double team them and defeat those Psychos once and for all. And yeah, it is pretty epic. The Psycho Rangers are awesome characters. They were terrifying and very threatening in space, and they're just as badass in Lost Galaxy. Fun fact, Wally Wingert actually voices Psycho Blue. It is very funny hearing the Riddler coming out of him. Yeah, just reading the comments. Love these guys. Me too. They're my favorite Ranger villains. How many Psycho Rangers were there? Technically 5. The Silver Psycho Ranger shows up in space, but it wasn't a real guy. And Psycho Green is introduced in the comics, but not in any of the shows, as far as I know. There's technically only 5 Psycho Rangers in the main continuity of the TV shows. Yeah, To the 10th Power is such an epic team-up episode. I think To the 10th Power is still one of the best crossovers ever. It was a lot more badass than their Lightspeed Rescue crossover, but that at least gave finality to Trakeena. I remember seeing the Psycho Rangers in some episodes of In Space. My first ever Power Rangers introduction was the Psycho Rangers arc. My parents got me like the VHS tape of In Space, and it was all the Psycho Rangers episode, their first arc all the way up to their death. I fell in love with Power Rangers, and the Psycho Rangers hold a special place in my kitty heart as my first ever Ranger villains. Remembered them a lot more than Astronema and Ecliptor. The first TV show I saw of Rangers was actually Lightspeed Rescue back when it was on, but Psycho Ranger is my first ever Power Ranger villains, and yeah, they're still pretty badass. They're evil, demented psychopaths, obsessed with killing the Rangers, and were programmed to be just as good at fighting, planning, and kicking all kinds of Ranger butt as they were, but for evil. Again, the series gets somewhat dark in tone. I mean, not PG-13 or hard R, but made for kids. It's awesome to see what they can get away with showing. Yeah, fully agree. In general, there's 5 Psycho Rangers. There's 5. They try to fake you out with a 6th one, the Silver Psycho Ranger, but it was actually Zane who was pulling a mind screw on them. It was kind of a weird episode, but yeah. Again, this series... Okay, read that one. I remember seeing the Psycho Rangers in space. Also, Lost Galaxy was the first Power Rangers season I saw all the way through when it aired. Oh, really, Ira? Then those must be good childhood memories. So, Trakeena summons the Psycho Rangers. They nearly succeed at killing the Galactic Rangers until the Space Rangers come for a badass team-up. They have to fight basically 11 Rangers. It's the Space Rangers, only 5 of them. Silver did not show up. And they fight the Galactic Rangers plus the Magna Defender in one of the best team-ups ever. And yeah, it is very satisfying watching 2 Ranger teams fighting their evil Psycho counterpart. The Psycho Rangers were brilliant villains to have for an epic crossover. They kill all the Psycho Rangers except for Psycho Pink. Psycho Pink managed to survive her beating, Deviant rebuilds her, and Psycho Pink tries to fulfill her purpose of assassinating the Pink Ranger. And this is what made the Psycho Rangers more deadly than In Space ever did. Psycho Pink succeeds at killing Kendrix. That's this girl down here. Kendrix is the first Power Ranger to be killed on screen by a villain. The Psycho Pink succeeds at murdering Kendrix, and they lose the Pink Galactic Ranger. Wasn't there an episode where the Psycho Rangers are ghosts? Yeah, but that's in Space. That is in the In Space season. The Psycho Rangers became ghosts, which set up the sequel that they were not alive, and they came back for a rematch later in Space, until they were turned into data cards, which eventually landed in the claws of Deviant. So, Psycho Pink succeeds at killing the Pink Ranger. However, it takes both the forces of the Space Rangers and the Galactic Rangers to finally finish Psycho Pink off for good, but it's too late. Kendrix is dead. Even though the Psycho Rangers are gone for good, for now at least, they succeeded at killing a Power Ranger, fracturing the Galactic Rangers for a story arc to get a replacement. Who is down here, and you all know who that is. Well, actually, Kendrix sacrifices herself. Yeah, she pulled a heroic sacrifice. Psycho Pink had, like, this weird death machine. It was, like, basically powering Psycho Pink, and Kendrix sacrificed herself because that pussy Cassie wasn't strong enough to do it. Turns out that Zordon was right. Too much pink energy was dangerous. Yep, the Pinks are definitely badasses in this saga. So yeah, Psycho Pink, really kick-ass villain, and she helped elevate them to S tier because she succeeded in her mission. Psycho Rangers were badass villains on In Space, and they are just as badass in Lost Galaxy, even though they had less episodes. Really like these guys. They're awesome, they're creepy, they're badass. They're true evil counterparts to the Rangers, and that's what makes them galactic. Also, if you can tell, two of these psychos may be distant ancestors to Pinky Dye and Thundercatter. I'm sure you'll figure out who, but my former Cat Council co-workers bear a striking resemblance to these psychos. But yeah, we'll put them on Galactic because they are awesome villains. Alright, time to do a Ranger next. Let's do my favorite, my lovely jungle princess, Maya. Oh yeah, Maya's going on to Galactic. We'll put her behind Trakina, but definitely in front of Leo. Maya's my favorite Yellow Ranger. She's hot, she's cool, she's kick-ass. Got this galactic warrior, jungle queen, warrior princess, and naive alien going on. Serena Vincent, hotter than hell. She is hot and out of this world. She played the best character on Not Another Teen Movie. Hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, if you know who I'm talking about. But to be fair, Maya is also a cool character. Basically, she's kind of the real mentor of the Power Rangers. She's the one familiar with the galactic power, the Quasar Sabers. She talks to animals, befriends the galactic beasts, has these hypersensitive abilities to sense when evil's afoot, which made her a lot more like a mysterious mage. So, very great character. I love her possible romance with Leo and possible romance with the Pink Ranger. It is kind of framed very, very more than friends, I'll say that. This is more better than Optimus Prime's death in Revenge of the Fallen in The Foresight. Well, that's because Revenge of the Fallen failed Optimus Prime. Maya, auga, wolf whistle, hubba hubba. We know she played that naked girl from that film. Well, she was also in Cabin Fever as another hot chick, so if you're in my horror community, you should know who she was in Cabin Fever. Maya was my first Power Rangers waifu, plus I love it when she acts like an animal. Yeah, basically she kind of acts like a jungle girl. She's a jungle princess. She's very in tune with nature, to the point where she struggles to blend in with humanity. Maya has a very interesting backstory because basically she loses her home planet. Miranoi is invaded by Furio, and he transforms them all into bad Photoshop, killing everyone on the entire planet, except for Maya, who manages to escape. Maya lives with Terra Venture and basically is on a journey to save her home, and trying to find herself, is struggling without her people, treats the Rangers like her new family, and she is kind of the mentor figure of the Rangers team. She's the one who understands their powers, their abilities, and shows them the way of being a galactic warrior. She understands how all the powers work, the lights of Orion, explains it, and sort of helps train Leo along the way. Maya is the girl that reminds me of Veronica from TNNT's Lost World. Highly recommend checking out that series if you want to relive some nostalgia of the Lost World. Yeah, Maya's my Power Ranger crush too. She's definitely the hottest Ranger ever. If you can't tell, she's dressed like a jungle girl, has her magical skirt, wears basically a sports bra, and shows her midriff. Not super sexual, if you're a prude at least. Yeah, if you're a prude, you might find her too hot to handle, but honestly, she kind of covers everything up, so it's no big deal. She's like swinging from trees, fights wild style, very kick-ass. Maya's definitely the muscle of her Ranger team. She's the big girl, the gentle giant. She can wall up bad guys across the room. Maya is actually a noble warrior. I love her episodes with either Kendrix and Loyax. Those are definitely great ones. My favorite episode was with her was when she and Kendrix got into a fight after Maya ate Damon's birthday cake. Yeah, that is one of the best episodes. Basically showing you that Maya is indeed an alien who doesn't understand our ways. On her planet, they don't celebrate birthdays, and Maya accidentally eats Damon's birthday cake, which Kendrix baked to surprise him, leading to a girl hissy fit and friendship breakup. One of the funniest episodes, honestly. Kendrix and Maya basically have a fight. They break up and then make up later when they realize the error of their ways. Kendrix realized she was too hard on her best friend and shouldn't have abandoned her, and Maya realizes she was a bitch and ruined Kendrix's birthday present for their friend. I remember that episode where the guys heard the fight. Yeah, pretty funny. Leo and Kai actually listen in on their sexy cat fight. I mean, it is a hot jungle girl versus a hot marine girl. Kendrix is pretty hot too, not gonna lie. Kendrix and Maya, definitely the hottest girl rangers we've ever had. And this was before Time Force. I do like her episode with Loyax. This one actually did give her character. Maya is a noble warrior, doesn't like how all the guys tease that she's a girl who knows how to fight. She can really kick ass. She's very fun. She can beat up Damon and even Leo in a fist fight. However, when the monster of the week is a noble old warrior, he wants to go on his last fight. However, he doesn't want to fight Maya because she's a girl. And it's not right for guys to fight girls. And Maya pretty much shows him up, bashes his sexism, and shows him that there's good. He can still accomplish good. He doesn't need to die and kill himself in this fight with a Power Ranger. Loyax actually dies. He tries to resist Deviat's control. Maya's forced to mercy kill him, and Maya actually shows respect for him and gives him a proper warrior's burial at sea. Yeah, there's actually a dead serious moment where Maya gives the monster a grave and pretty much praises him and makes peace with him, telling him he didn't die a worthless loser. Yeah, Leo got cake to the face. That was hilarious. I remember that episode where the guys heard the fight. Yeah, they had like a sexy girl fight. Love the episodes where her and Kendrix are constantly fighting. And speaking of which, there's one more great episode with her where a monster poses as her best friend Chandra. Another sexy jungle girl comes to Terra Venture, and Maya realizes this is her best friend from Miranoi. Maya finally shows like tragedy in her backstory. Basically, she misses her home world, and her best friend comes from out of nowhere, out of the blue, in an obvious suspicious red flag. However, Maya is overcome by emotions because she's so happy to see her. Her friend Chandra is actually a monster in disguise, tricking Maya into trusting her and letting her pass security so he can steal, like, this galactic book. They have the galactic book at this point. Kendrix realizes that her best friend is a bad person and trying to warn her, leading to another girl fight amongst the besties. Yeah, that was a fantastic episode. Plus, Loyax was definitely one of the best one-off monsters. Fully agree, Shadow Link. He's kind of like Dash from Time Force. He's a reluctant monster. He wasn't always evil. Loyax used to be a good warrior. He's down here. We'll get to him. I think this is him with the weird chain ball hand. It looks like him. Yeah, Loyax wasn't always evil. He turned evil because he lost faith. Maya helps restore his faith because Maya is a gentle, incorruptible, pure soul, which is why I like her too. You know, outside of Serena Vincent being hot. Wasn't the first time a monster disguised as a friend. Yeah, this evil Egyptian monster impersonates Chandra, her best friend. Kendrix and Maya get into another petty bitch argument, thinking that Kendrix is jealous. However, Kendrix was right. Her friend Chandra was a monster imposter who tried to steal the Galactic spell book. She broke in past security to steal the book, and Maya makes amends with Kendrix, and they both kick the monster's ass. And we do get a deep look into Maya, realizing that, oh yeah, she actually does miss her home planet and is fighting to save them. She misses Miranoi and wants to cure it, and it's the first episode, I think, that actually addressed that she is doing this to help save her people. So why was there no Psycho Silver for Zane? Yeah, that is pretty funny. They never made one. I know Zane pretended he was the Psycho Silver, but yeah. Let's talk about Deviant. Okay. Anyways, Maya, really awesome character. She's hot, she's kick-ass, she's magical, brings a lot of charm to the show, got a lot of boys into the show, we'll put it that way, and showed how female characters are pretty awesome. But she does have a deep character arc too. She does eventually save her people, she helps them return to Miranoi, and she's the one that convinces the other Rangers that they have to return the swords and give up their power, which pretty much cures everything. It saves Miranoi. She successfully completes her hero's journey, saving her home, getting the people out of the stone carbonite they were frozen in, and magically bringing Kendrix to life. Yeah, it's pretty weird, but we'll get to that when we get to her. But yeah, Kendrix comes back, and Maya completes her hero's journey, then shows up with the other Galactic Rangers in the Lightspeed Rescue crossover. Anyways, love Maya. She's going on Galactic. She is definitely a worthy warrior. I was hoping we'd talk about Deviant after the other generals, Furio and Tretcheron. Yeah, we should probably go in order because there were different second in command, so we'll do Furio first. Furio, you know, I might put on Magna's successor. He was definitely an interesting villain. Furio is the original right-hand man of the Insect Empire. He's Scorpius's #1 guy until he starts failing. Furio is kind of the hammerhead to Scorpius's big man. Also, why didn't Zane appear in the team-up? I don't know. They didn't have the Silver Ranger, which was dumb. What do you think about doing a Totally Spies tier list? I might have to watch the new show, and I haven't been impressed by what I've been seeing on the new show. Namely that they fired Jerry in episode 1 and replaced him with a strong, independent black woman, which is a major red flag for me these days. Anyways, Furio, he's the weird lemon head guy. He's the original second in command to Scorpius. He turns Miranoi into stone, so he is a pretty badass lethal villain. Furio is his #1 guy. He's getting stuff done. He's searching for the lights of Orion. However, as the first arc goes on, Scorpius starts to get fed up with Furio, disgusted with his failures, does not like how he hasn't killed those pesky Power Rangers yet, and is upset that he's not finding the lights of Orion yet because Furio is basically struggling. Furio is kind of the arc villain of the first half of the series. He's the lethal force. He and Trakina have this odd friendship which slowly grows sour. Trakina actually keeps him alive, but Furio is like indebted to Trakina. We didn't get too much character on Trakina yet, but we find out she's kind of this chess master manipulator, using him and basically forcing him to owe her favors. Furio finally finds the lights of Orion and is racing to the finish to get them before the Rangers do, ultimately leading to Furio and Leo having a final fight because Furio killed Mike. It's all his fault that Mike, the big brother of Leo, was killed in the first episode. Furio did his job fine, didn't have much personality, and did with he had a better death instead of... Oh, I wish he did have a better death instead of being kind of anticlimactic. Yeah, that's the thing. He tries to suicide bomb Leo with the lights of Orion. It blows him up, and honestly, his death did kind of confuse me. I thought he was still alive and would be back, but no, he gets blown up by an energy wave. We see him fall, and that's kind of the end. You know, I might actually dump him down on Beta Bug, remembering his death scene. I kind of blinked and I missed it. Yeah, that was the end of Furio. Really anticlimactic. He did his job fine. He was sort of built up as an archenemy to Leo, but Leo eventually killed him. And we lead into the awesome Magna Defender taking over as the major arc character. Furio was fine. We'll put him on Beta Bug. Can you do Deviant next? We got one more guy we do have to do before him, and that's Treacheron. Trying to find him. Sorry, he's got a lot of characters still. Where are you, Treacheron? Treacheron might go actually pretty high, honestly, because I really did like him. Ah, here he is. Alright, we gotta talk about Treacheron first. Treacheron, I will put him on Magna Successor because he was pretty cool. Treacheron replaces Furio as the new right-hand man, and he's trusted by Scorpius to kill the Magna Defender this time. Treacheron is kind of this honorable, old-fashioned samurai warrior assassin type of character. He is an archenemy to the Magna Defender and a major villain in the Magna Defender's story arc. Treacheron's the new right-hand man. He has a pretty interesting relationship with Trakina. Trakina seduces and charms him, allows herself to tag along on his missions. Treacheron almost gets into trouble for this and basically betrays Trakina's trust, tells Scorpius that she was the one who snuck onto the mission, and this pretty much pissed her off and turned her against him. I say Treacheron is more of a Magna Successor, very strong, honorable, and had a much better fight and defeat against Leo. Yeah, he was awesome. I actually do like Treacheron for one big reason. I actually kind of feel sorry for him. Like, halfway through the Magna Defender arc, Trakina basically throws him under the bus, frames him as a traitor, pretends that he was lying and manipulating Scorpius, pretends that he was trying to steal the lights of Orion for himself, basically, and Scorpius pretty much turns against Treacheron, has him thrown into the brig. Treacheron realizes that his life is ruined. He was completely backstabbed by the Empire despite being entirely loyal to it. He realizes Trakina set him up, and he teams up with the Shark Brothers down here to get back at Trakina. He escapes prison, lays this elaborate scheme to get to her, and tries to assassinate Trakina because she stupidly falls for an obvious trap. Yeah, Trakina did betray Treacheron, and you kind of feel sorry for him because he was actually friends with Scorpius and Trakina, but she didn't like how he betrayed her and basically squealed her daddy for her, and didn't like that he was a stern teacher to her, so showing how Trakina has, like, no loyalty, which foreshadows how she'll be treating her generals in the future episodes later. So, basically, Treacheron tricks Trakina, tries to fight her. However, the Rangers and Magna Defender get caught up in the crossfire, leading to Leo finally fighting Treacheron. And he gets this honorable final samurai duel, a one-on-one with Leo. And it has the best line ever. Red Ranger, you stand for everything I hate. Goodness, honor, decency. It's pretty funny how even he himself admits he's a one-dimensional evil villain who hates goodness. He fights Leo and dies in an honorable samurai duel, getting killed by Leo. And this does foreshadow that Trakina does not have any respect for her men, as she threw Treacheron under the bus, and would pave the way for how Trakina is going to be treating her new right-hand men later in life. Talk about Kendrix after Deviant. Okay. Anyways, Treacheron's a Magna Successor. Really cool villain. Liked him a lot more than Furio, that's for sure. So he'll go up on Magna Successor. Alright, so you finally want to talk about Deviant, huh? Alright, let's talk about Deviant, our Starscream villain. Deviant is the new right-hand man after Treacheron, replacing both Treacheron and Trakina, and, you know, I will put him onto Galactic. Deviat's basically the Starscream. He's a treacherous second-in-command, a backstabber, a schemer, who's trying to usurp the role of main villain from under Scorpius and later Trakeena's noses. Deviat is hired as a replacement for both Trecheron and Trakeena as Scorpius' new right-hand man. Deviat realizes that he doesn't like being the lowly foot soldier, and he wants the cocoon Scorpius built, realizing it can give him ultimate power, leading to him becoming kind of a Starscream, working behind their backs and planning their deaths. Yeah, Deviat was an excellent sadistic villain. You want the Magna Defender next? We might do Kendrix just to do a Ranger, but yeah. So, Deviat, basically, he's really cool, very devious, sadistic, psychotic, a total treacherous scumbag, a villain you love to hate, even with his ridiculous Shakespeare collar. If you can't tell, Deviat's a cyborg. He's half monster, half robot, got a machine arm, laser gun hands, has this weird Cyrax-looking hair. It looks kind of funny. Got, like, weird wire dreadlocks, that kind of look, and this funny Shakespeare collar. Basically, Deviat plots behind Trakeena's back. Deviat succeeded at assassinating Scorpius. He tricks Scorpius and the Rangers into fighting each other, where Scorpius gets killed by Leo in battle, where Deviat successfully dethrones his boss. Deviat almost succeeds until Trakeena shows back up, and Scorpius makes his daughter the new villain leader, meaning Deviat has to serve her, only for him to slowly plot behind her back as well. And yeah, I really like Deviat, his flamboyant, over-the-top personality, his selfishness, his deviousness. Even when other characters are nice to him, he still like shit-talks them behind his back. Villamax shows him respect and gives him a dagger as a sign of friendship, only for Deviat to break it behind his back, showing you how much loyalty he truly has. Deviat's only goal is to serve himself. He is our Starscream of the show, and a rather good one. He manages to hide himself amongst Trakeena's ranks, works for all the villains. He works for and betrays Scorpius, works for and betrays Trakeena, and later works for and betrays Captain Mutiny, who we'll get to, but yeah. You get the idea. Very smart Starscream villain, also kind of a badass. The one thing that holds him back from great villainy is that Deviat is also a coward. When things don't go right for him, he chickens out, he squeals, he snitches, and he runs away when things get tough, which is why he won't be dethroning Trakeena. I feel like there's another Power Ranger villain that is kind of like Starscream. There's a lot of Starscream-esque villains. Yeah, the treacherous second-in-command kind of archetype. We later have, like, Frax. We have Diabolico. We have, what's his name? I think... Yeah, Mandalok, sorry, almost forgot his name. Got a lot of treacherous second-in-command characters on Power Rangers. Deviat fills our Starscream quota. Deviat also sent the Rangers to the Lost Galaxy. Yeah, he steals the book, and the book beams Terra Venture through a portal where they finally get lost in the galaxy. I kind of like Deviat's rivalry with Villamax. Yeah, if you don't know, Deviat and Villamax are kind of also the Ecliptor and Dark Khanda of the show. One's a treacherous psychotic scumbag, and one's a more noble demon and honorary villain with their own virtues and moral code. Villamax is more like Ecliptor, while Deviat is definitely the Dark Khanda. The difference is Dark Khanda was also not afraid to get his hands dirty. Deviat, much more cowardly, much more underhanded, has to cheat to one-up his opponents. They were definitely had an Ecliptor and Dark Khanda relationship going on, with Deviat being an obvious psychotic schemer, while Villamax had more likability and honor. Sorry for missing the stream. I'm in a St. Augustine, which outside Wi-Fi is terrible. It's okay, Akira. We got a lot of characters. Many monsters of the weeks we'll brush through, but yeah. Deviat, he's really awesome. And as you know, Deviat helps... gets like a final form and fights the Rangers. He loses the final form once they cross into the Lost Galaxy, works for Captain Mutiny, somehow survives Captain Mutiny's base getting destroyed by Trakeena, goes crawling back to the evil Bug Babe. However, Trakeena completely knows he's a traitor by this point and tries to have him executed. Deviat escapes and works his way to the Cocoon, where, as I mentioned earlier, he and Trakeena both morph into a fusion monster. And like I said, what are your theories as to what happened? Trakina and Deviant both fall into the cocoon and kind of mix and fuse together, and it's kind of up in the air if Deviant died or if he took over Trakina's mind. Trakina starts acting a lot more like Deviant than herself, and I believe Deviant definitely had an influence on her mind. He's possibly still alive in there, and he and Trakina are both working together as this fusion monster. Yeah, Deviant and Trakina both combine, and essentially Deviant is gone for good when she becomes the final form. Any trace of him is definitely gone, and Trakina's now a full-blown psychopath, but fans debate that he was in there influencing her mind. I believe he like had his personality absorbed by Trakina, but there's a debate that a part of his soul exists in Trakina when they become the fusion monster. And I think Deviant might actually be alive inside of Trakina's brain too, which is why she's acting more psychotic and monstrous. Basically, she has Deviant's sociopathic, sadistic side, his violence, his uncaring attitude towards her minions. However, there's enough evidence there to support that, oh, Deviant did die, this is who Trakina is all along. Deviant just removed any sense of morals, like all her walls, keeping that out. So yeah, Deviant, he kind of dies being absorbed by Trakina, but is also kind of in there. I do think he's gone for good when she becomes the super-powered final form Trakina, because this is all her, most definitely. But Deviant, he's going on Galactic because he is a badass villain. Really liked him, he was fun. He's definitely no Darkonda, but he definitely comes very close to feeling like it. He's going on Galactic because he is a devious and evil bastard. Because otherwise Trakina would not have killed Villamax. Yeah, that was something I always thought, because Deviant was the one who hated Villamax. Trakina actually loved Villamax up until they became the fusion monster. So it's implied that Deviant finally got his revenge and killed Villamax while fused with Trakina, because Deviant was the only one who truly hated him. Everyone else really liked him, which is why I believe Deviant's mind was in there. But yeah, Deviant, underrated villain, really like him. Him, Villamax, and Trakina were definitely the high points of Power Ranger evil. He's going on Galactic. Alright, now let's finally talk about the best Pink Ranger of all time, Kendrix. Kendrix, also going on Galactic. We'll put her under Deviant, because Deviant was around longer. Okay, this is Kendrix, our Pink Ranger, for at least 2/3 of the series. Kendrix is the science officer slash Marine bodyguard character. She works for the TerraVenture military and is a major figure on their spaceship. Kendrix actually might have a crush on Leo because she let him go when the guards were searching for him, and definitely showed signs that she was interested in our bad boy here, unlike that loser Kai. So basically, oh, Wise Wizard, yeah, he's on here too. He's down here somewhere. Anyways, Kendrix, really like her. She's a badass Pink Ranger. She never gives up. She's hot too. She kicks ass. Yeah, both Kendrix and Maya were both pretty. Not gonna lie, they're both the hottest Power Ranger girls we've ever had. This show had a lot of hot women. So, Kendrix is our badass Pink Ranger. She's kind of a Marine girl. We see she's with the soldiers. She idolized Mike, has a crush on his kid brother Leo, takes her job and responsibilities very seriously. However, she does have a heart deep down. She is a compassionate ranger. She gets the power of the pink Quasar Saber, wields that badass pink energy. Her animal is a wildcat, so she has like a lot of cat girl type of moves. Kendrix is pretty awesome, very likable personality, is definitely a tough fighter. Oh no, Kendrix is not better than Jen or Kimberly. That I will agree on. Jen and Kimberly are definitely S tier. Kendrix, if this was a Pink Ranger tier list, would make it on A, but Lost Galaxy wise, she is galactic. Of course, her replacement, Corone, was great too, and a good redemption arc for her. Yeah, Astronema's on this list too. So that's why you like her. Well, she is a hot nerd girl, so not gonna lie, she looks pretty hot. Really liked Maya a lot more. She was my Ranger crush, but Kendricks, definitely not bad. No slouch in her area either. She's also so pretty that Turkina stole her and Maya's beauty when she was trying to become hotter, so yeah, definitely not ugly, that's for sure. Kendrick's really kick ass. I believe one of a lot of her best episodes are when she's with Maya, when they have like friendship hissy fits. She baked a cake for Damon for his birthday, and Maya stupidly ate it, and Kendricks has a petty bitch fight with her. Leo and Kai are definitely interested in the sexy cat fight about to commence. But one of her actual character-driven episodes is Kendricks becomes like a stand-in for this actress who looks just like her. The actress gets tired of her job. She's kind of this spoiled, rotten alpha bitch who doesn't like working. She pretends she was injured during a monster fight, and Kendricks becomes a stand-in for her, and it is hilarious seeing her try to become an actress. Do the Magna Defender. We'll do him next. Is Gasser the stag beetle monster on there? Yeah, I think this is him down here. This might be him, or one of the weird scarab looking guys. Yeah, I really like the episode where Kendrick stood in for this actress. This actress played by the same girl who played Kendricks, Verna, whatever her name is. Basically, she stands in for this actress, and we finally get a more character focus on her. We find out Kendricks never breaks a promise and never gives up. Kendricks is doing a lot of stunt work for this girl, and it's very clear she was injured from a monster battle. She has like a leg injury. It's hard for her to walk, but she's still getting up, doing stunts, and acting anyway. And this actually inspires the alpha bitch actress. She's impressed by Kendrick's overcoming the pain. She would have never done this without having an argument with the director, but Kendricks is here kind of taking it, overcoming it, working hard to get what she wants, and that kind of made her a lot more inspirational for the girl viewers. Yeah, it's the fat one. Okay. Yeah, he's on here too. Okay. Really like Kendricks, and this is pretty much her big mark on Power Rangers history. Kendricks is the first Power Ranger to die. During the To the 10th Power crossover, Psycho Pink succeeds at causing Kendricks' death. She has this weird death machine where the pink energy is giving her power, and basically beating up Cassie and Kendricks gives the pink more power anytime they get beaten by this magic sword. Basically, the sword is giving her a lot more energy, and Kendricks sacrifices herself to destroy the Doomsday weapon. And too much pink energy is dangerous because it ends up killing her. Kendricks dies completely on screen, destroyed by the pink energy that overwhelmed her, and she passes her Quasar Saber on to a new replacement. No, she isn't. The Magna Defender is the first one to die. Yeah, that is true. Okay, she's not the first Power Ranger to die if you count the Magna Defender. However, she is the first actual main character to die. So, for those of you who don't know, Kendricks' actress had leukemia. She had cancer. She needed this very serious surgery. She would have died if she hadn't gotten it. And basically she had to quit the show in order to get this life-saving surgery. So the writers had to get rid of the Kendricks character, which is why it made history that this is the first Power Ranger character to get killed off. The Pink Ranger dies, and she passes her power onto Karone, who we'll get to. Karone is Astronema, if you don't know or never saw In Space, which you should definitely watch. Yeah, her actress got leukemia. I mean, they had to find the pink Quasar Saber, technically, but her spirit does pass the torch to Karone. Yeah, it does. Her Quasar Saber, her soul, Kendricks technically becomes a Force ghost. They got her actress whenever she was available, surgery. Kendricks dies, and the Quasar Saber goes on to a new woman. And a lot of fans really wished it was Cassie, the Space Ranger. If you don't know, Cassie, the Pink Space Ranger, was also going to have this planned story arc where she was going to become the successor, but apparently Patricia J. Lee got into an argument with the producers, and they ended up scrapping this because they had a falling out. So Kendricks eventually passes it on to Corone. There's a fight over the pink quasar saber. Trakina wants it. Astronema wants it. Deviat obviously wants it too. Basically, they all fight over it, and Kendricks passes it on to Corone and gives her her blessing. And we never see Kendricks again until the finale, where she's magically brought to life. There is zero explanation as to how this happened, but when they return the Quasar Sabers, Kendricks comes back from the dead. She's like, hey guys, I knew you could do it. I'm back and alive again. Kendrick steps back again. The actress, don't worry, she's alive. She got the surgery and basically got back to full health and showed up just in time for the finale for a last cameo. Kendrick shows up alive with zero explanation. It's just magic. That's really it. It's just magic. She comes back and finally makes peace with Maya and her friends, and they all party on their new home planet, which is Miranoi. Yeah, that was a bit of a cop-out. Yeah, it was really weird. And the Magna Defender was the two Rangers to die. Never come to life next to being Trini. Yeah, Trini also died, but that's because Trini also died in real life. So, yeah, kind of hard to kill off a character when the actor died in a tragic accident. Yeah, Trini also died, but I don't think she died in the show. They just wrote her off. So yeah, Kendrick shows up alive again. I believe a later Power Rangers show explained this, that Kendricks became a part of the morphing grid or something. Yeah, you get the answer in a much later show, years later. Like, we're talking like 2 decades later. Like, I believe Cosmic Fury or one of the Netflix shows explained she didn't die. She was a part of the morphing grid, and yeah, her soul was basically kept alive, and it's when she was revived back to life thanks to some cosmic beings doing. Kind of a cop-out if you ask me. Trini did die. She died in a Netflix movie called Once and Always, where Zach and Billy came back. Okay, I never saw that because I heard the movies were terrible. Also, I think the Medusa monster is Impasta. My theory is that when the Quasar Sabers were returned, it undid everything that happened when the Sabers were pulled, including Kendricks' death. Well, by that logic, wouldn't it undo Trakina and Scorpius' deaths? Man, I think Robot Knight from Megaforce coming back with no explanation was way worse. That's because Megaforce is a pile of crap. Like Morphin Grid is Vestige of MHA. Okay, so yeah, Kendricks is alive again, and she shows up in the Lightspeed Rescue crossover where she and Maya are hit on by Joel, and they kick ass. Kendricks, I think, is awesome and gets a lot of credit for being one of the rare Power Ranger deaths in the show. Kendricks and the Magna Defender are actually the first 2 Rangers to die in a mainstream Power Ranger show, so she definitely made her mark on history. But yeah, Kimberly and Jen are definitely way better, but I think Kendricks is pretty awesome. She kicks ass, she's funny, she's adorable. Love the cute nerd girl look. She and Maya are definitely both hotties. So pink energy going on Galactic. Like the past Rangers are Soul in the Morphin Grid. Alright, I think this is the tentacle girl you're talking about. No, we'll put her onto Villamax Trainee. Yeah, this is the girl who's nearly kills Leo's temporary love interest of the week. She like rides that kick-ass motorcycle and has that Medusa hair. All I remember is she rode like a snake-themed motorcycle, which was pretty awesome, not gonna lie. We'll put her on Villamax Trainee because had some cool badass fight scenes, but that's about it. Okay, here's the wise wizard you wanted, Akira. The wise wizard, we're also putting him on Villamax Trainee because he was so stupid he thought the lights of Orion were in a common video camera. Yeah, he shows up in the episode where Kendricks replaces the actress, and kind of another lame filler villain. I liked his wizard design, but come on, he thought the lights of Orion were in some video camera on a space colony ship. That is a special kind of stupid. BRB, hey, alright, see you, Shadowlink. Don't worry, we'll knock off some villains of the week. Alright, speaking of which, let's also get rid of Captain Mutiny. Captain Mutiny, also going on to Villamax Trainee. Captain Mutiny was a very painfully obvious filler villain. They had him take over like the last arc before the finale, the penultimate arc basically. The Rangers get lost in the Lost Galaxy, where they meet Captain Mutiny, a space pirate who pretends he's a trustworthy guy, but what a shock, he turns out to be evil because he can't trust a guy named Captain Mutiny. Captain Mutiny's an evil warlord who basically enslaves people. He has like this cool sandcastle fortress and a giant turtle monster, the Titanosaur. Basically, Captain Mutiny and his pirates are looting, plundering, and enslaving anyone who chances and gets lost in the Lost Galaxy. BRB, see you later, Kira. We'll get some filler monsters out of the way. So, Captain Mutiny honestly was not a bad character at first. He started to wear out his welcome the longer the show went on, and I did get kind of sick of seeing him because I would have much rather seen Trakeena and Deviant. Deviant was in the Captain Mutiny arc, but he becomes a second in command to Captain Mutiny, and this would have been so much better if Deviant was using him, but no, Deviant's whoring himself out for him, and Captain Mutiny's kind of an arc villain for at least 6 to 7 episodes, and it dragged, man. It went on for way too long. Basically, he's a pirate-themed monster villain. He tricks Terra Venture. He tricks Terra Venture into trusting him, welcoming him on board, but it turns out he's trying to enslave all the colonists. He's trying to trick them, trying to trap them, and make them slaves mining treasure for him. Captain Mutiny is actually the big bad of the Sentai Lost Galaxy is based on. Yeah, I heard that. It's because he's actually the main villain of the Super Sentai show they're dubbing over, which is why they had a lot of footage of him. Unfortunately, Captain Mutiny was not a very interesting villain, and he went on for way too long. He is a million times better than Mandalorian, really hated him, but Captain Mutiny just wore out his welcome. He started out as a cool villain. He gives like a Trojan horse monster, the Cruncher. I think that's this thing right here. The Cruncher will actually put on Beta Bug because he was really awesome. So he tricks them, has this Trojan horse monster, the Cruncher, basically this giant tunneling kaiju monster who gets stronger if you try to kill it with fire, which unfortunately Leo the Hothead actually uses, where he expands and grows. Almost succeeds, but Cruncher dies in his one-note episode, and Captain Mutiny spends a lot of episodes trying to send filler villains to kill the Rangers. Captain Mutiny is eventually defeated by the Magna Defender. Mike goes undercover, breaches his slavery ring, and easily dupes Captain Mutiny and frees all the slaves. Captain Mutiny tries to follow them. They both portal out of the Lost Galaxy back into the main safe galaxy, only for Captain Mutiny to get punk killed by Trakeena the first second he stepped out of his home turf. Why exactly did they replace Captain Mutiny with Scorpius and Trakeena? I heard they wanted to experiment with their American villains, like original characters. Trakeena and Scorpius are not in any of the Sentai footage. They are complete OCs. They are new characters. They're original to the show, and basically, they wanted to test the waters to make their own story. That was kind of the thing. They actually took a risk and wanted to do something new. Trakeena and Scorpius do not exist in any Japanese version of the Sentai. They are 100% American only. Captain Mutiny was the real villain of the Sentai series. So basically, Trakeena and Scorpius did not exist, and they wanted to have their own original characters to write their own instead of writing around the Sentai characters and desperately trying to redub everything. I think it was just kind of a shortcut and experimenting with new ideas. It did work. Anyways, Captain Mutiny, awesome until he gets punk killed by Trakeena and he just wore out his welcome. We'll put him on Villamax Trainee. His monster was much better, the Cruncher or whatever. This tunnel thing was pretty awesome. We'll put him on Beta Bug because he was way scarier than Captain Mutiny. Speaking of which, I think we should also get Hexaba out of the way. Hexaba is his magic witch in his inner circle. We'll put her on Beta Bug too because she was cool for like 2 episodes. Hexaba is this weird, evil Egyptian woman. She's a sorceress. She's an evil witch who helps Captain Mutiny try to cook up some more psychological threats to the Power Rangers. Hexaba sends a dream monster to assassinate the Power Rangers, has them trapped in a nightmare, and in one of the best episodes ever, Hexaba's Graveyard, she summons every Ranger monster they ever killed and has the Rangers basically fight them until they, die of exhaustion. So, Hexaba will put on Beta Bug. She was pretty cool, but anticlimactically killed too, just like Furio. She's kind of Kai's arch nemesis, and Kai defeats her and blows up her evil witch ship, where she dies and doesn't even get a giant monster fight. We'll put her on Beta Bug, because she was cool, at least. Speaking of which, where's her nightmare monster? Here he is, the dude with the crescent head. This guy was just a jobber for Hexaba. We're putting him on Dud Bug. Sorry, I'm also kind of looking for that weird Battle Axe guy. I think this guy was the weird second in command of Captain Mutiny. Yeah, we'll also put him on Dud Bug. He barely did anything except exchange exposition with Captain Mutiny. This guy, almost a cool villain, but then he became a side character. We'll put him on the Dud Bug. Let's do Freaky Tiki. We'll put him on Beta Bug because I really liked him and his psychotic personality. This guy was crazy and he loved to fight, and that's about it. His design really stood out, though. Really liked the guy voicing him. He was over the top. Fun filler villain, but that's about it. I'm back, just got done cooking ramen noodles, what I miss. You missed us talk about Captain Mutiny, and we're getting some filler villains out of the way. Kendrix made it to S tier if you weren't here for that. The Pink Ranger, she was awesome and hot, and had one of the best deaths in Power Rangers. Okay, let's do Tretcheron's Shark Brothers. We'll put these guys also on Beta Bug, and they'll go much higher because they were a kick-ass duo who supported Tretcheron. Really liked their loyalty to him, and they had a kick-ass final stand with the Rangers. They'll go on Beta Bug. Really nice, loyal minions to have around. Okay, speaking of which, this weird machine guy, I believe he also tried to hunt the Galactabeast. We'll put him on Dud Bug next to Evil Elvis. He was a funny villain, but he doesn't even get an on-screen death. Kind of unsatisfying. How about Villamax's sidekick? Oh, you mean Kegler? Alright, we'll do Kegler. He was funny. We'll put him on Beta Bug, but just slightly above Furio. That's about it. If you don't know, this is Villamax's goofy elderly sidekick, Kegler, a monster shaped like a keg, because in Japan he had a lot of alcoholic jokes, but in America, no such luck. Kegler, basically kind of an evil genius. He was Villamax's bro. Really sad scene where he cried over Villamax's death. Villamax was much more important than him, so he'll make it up higher, but Kegler was kind of a comic relief. He's the first that has a bad feeling about Trakina, and is the first to notice that Trakina is completely different when she becomes fused with Deviant. I miss Kendrix. Well, I thought she was a bookworm, not a marine girl. Well, she was a soldier. She was training in the army new combat moves. That's why I called her that. Also, I heard her actress left the show because she was sick. Yeah, we went over that. She had, leukemia and she needed surgery, which was why she was kind of written out, so she could get that surgery and live. Since Saw 11 was canceled, how about doing a trap tier, or at least the victims? I'll think about that. He just disappeared after Trakina turned evil, or... Okay, so here's the thing. Apparently, Kegler did die in the Sentai footage, but it was too graphic. So, according to the Power Rangers Wikipedia, he dies when Trakina's ship crashes. In the finale, when the Rangers knock her evil giant scorpion ship out of the air, Trakina's ship crash lands, and Kegler died off screen. He died in the crash. That's what the Power Rangers Wikipedia says. It is kind of a cop-out, not gonna lie. We don't even get confirmation that he died. You have to read the Power Rangers Wikipedia. Yeah, Kegler was in the control room when the ship crashed, and they show you that the control room in the ship is in complete ruins, and that is how he dies. He dies in the ship crash off screen. That is the end of Kegler. Kind of wished he got a happy ending or a proper send-off, but whatever. Yeah, he died in the crash landing. That is his official death, and that's what the Power Rangers Wikipedia says. So yeah, kind of a cop-out, and not a blaze of glory like a Villamax did. But Kegler, we'll put on Beta Bug. He was alright. Pretty funny. Alright, let's do, the evil tank guy. We'll also be putting him onto Dud Bug. He had a really cool design, but that was about it. He was basically a mindless jobber who tried to help hunt the pink Quasar Saber, and he gets killed when Astronema / Couronne becomes the new Pink Ranger. Yeah, he's basically a warm-up boss fight for the new Pink. We'll put him on Dud Bug. Alright, gonna go use the restroom, but you guys, feel free to vote on who you want to see next. Got a couple Rangers, a lot of side characters, and dozens of Monsters of the Weeks. You guys cast your vote. I'll be right back. Alright, Galactic Cat is back. What'd you guys vote on? Oh, you want Astronema? Alright, let me just knock off 2 more villains of the week. This weird evil king guy. I don't remember who this guy is. We'll put him on Villamax trainee. And, evil magnet guy. We'll actually put him onto Beta Bug because he had the power to basically nerf the Power Ranger powers. He, takes away their morphing abilities, and that is a pretty useful power to have, not gonna lie. Plus, I liked his goofy Beta the Magnet Warrior design. Yeah, we'll put him on Beta Bug. Alright, you want to talk about Couronne, aka Astronema, the former Princess of Evil. This is Astronema, but she becomes Couronne because if you haven't seen In Space, she was the former Space Ranger antagonist for the longest time. However, her loving brother Andros and the Space Rangers broke her brainwashing, and she became Couronne, Andros' badass long-lost sister, who is trying to become a hero, trying to atone for all her misdeeds as the former villainous Astronema, and she fulfills her redemption arc in Lost Galaxy, becoming the replacement Pink Ranger for the fan-favorite Kendrix. So, as you can guess, Astronema, going galactic, because of course she is. Yeah, I really like Astronema, and I do understand a lot of people like her way more than Kendrix. She basically had an established character arc, which is why she got a lot of points above Kendrix. If you don't know, she used to be the evil Space Ranger villain. Eventually, she was broken free of her evil. Dark Spectre tried to brainwash her, and Couronne regretted all her evil misdeeds and is trekking the Lost Galaxy alone, going on solo adventures, using her past Astronema identity to breach inner villain circles, and secretly doing good guy stuff along the way. Redeemed and shows up in Megaforce with that endgame knockoff final fight. Yeah, she came back in the Megaforce lineup. like I ever be a Power Ranger. Then 10 years later, I love being a Power Ranger. Yeah, she shows up on Megaforce too. Astronema, I understand that a lot of people have a crush on this character because basically before we had Trakina, she was the OG badass hot sexy space assassin. She's the evil Dark Queen of the In Space saga. Initially she was supposed to assassinate the last of the Power Rangers, but ended up turning good because she was related to Andross the Red Space Ranger. She went out on her own after In Space. She tries to take the pink Quasar Saber, prevent it from falling into the wrong hands basically, but runs into Trakina and the Lost Galaxy Rangers, who are both trying to get Kendrix's blade back. My favorite episode with her is the one where she talks Damon into entering the science competition. She shows some of her Astronema personality in that episode too. Yeah, because Astronema used to be funny before the brainwashing. I'm back for a while since I'm going on my first trip. Okay, Akira, don't worry, we made it to Karone, aka Astronema, who's going on Galactic because she is awesome. Basically, she quickly proves herself that she is a good girl, she is a badass, she is fully capable of being a Power Ranger, and yep, Karone officially becomes a Ranger in this show and fulfills her redemption arc. She proves herself worthy of the pink Quasar Saber, and Kendrix spiritually passes it on to her, where she becomes the new Power Ranger the Galactic team needs. And yeah, Karone's pretty fun character. Basically warms up to the Galaxy Rangers. They're her new team. Help her fit in. Help her feel like a normal girl. And help her basically finish her redemption. She becomes the new Pink Ranger. She replaces Kendrix as Maya's new best friend. We get like her in a lot of hot leather outfits. Yeah, Karone pretty hot. I can see what people saw in her. She dresses like a Matrix character. Very funny. Melody Perkins is very beautiful too, just like Maya. Of course, Maya is way hotter, but Karone no slouch in that department either. I do remember Karone tried to help Damon get a job for the science experiment, but Damon turned it down when he realized he had to give up a lot of things he loved in being himself, which, very funny. She tried actually being nice and helping him, but not understanding Damon's likes and dislikes very well. Karone, definitely a worthy successor. She became one of the fan favorites of Power Rangers. She was already very loved and popular from In Space, and this actually boosted her popularity and Lost Galaxy's ratings very high. She becomes the new Pink Ranger and is fully badass, fully kick-ass. She apparently still has the powers by the time of Megaforce. She shows up again, and Melody Perkins still looks very hot, even in Megaforce. Yeah, really liked Karone. I can see what people really enjoyed about this character, and her redemption arc is great and classic. And of course, who doesn't love her hot, sexy cat fights with Trakina? Two badass women fighting in hot leather, really kick-ass. But yeah, character-wise, I do like her. She fulfills her redemption arc, proves that she is a great Power Ranger, and you kind of forget that she ever was Astronema because she's come that far. Her arc is great and fully closed off given proper conclusion in Lost Galaxy, which is why she is galactic. Alright, so you wanted the weird beetle guy. Trying to find him. I thought there was like a bigger beetle dude on here, but I don't see him. I think this is him. Alright, we'll put weird one-eyed beetle guy onto Villamax. Villamax trainee. This also looks like him. I don't remember this monster. A weird plant monster. Yeah, we'll put him on Villamax trainee too. This guy almost looks like a Beetleborg. Not gonna lie. Let's do Artichoke, who will also put on Villamax trainee. This was that weird vegetable monster, like Artichoke, because he chokes people with his claws. Really stupid pun, but he took control of the Galactic Beast, so he was a genuine threat. He was supposed to be Deviat's second in command. He controlled the corrupted Galactic Beast until they eventually broke them of his brainwashing, and they double-teamed and killed him. That is his entire story. The weird deafening bat. Like, what was his name? Like, Bat? Like, Dingbat or something? Yeah, I'll put him on Dead Bug. He has weaponized ear rape, and that's about it. Kind of a goofy monster, and even Shirkina found him annoying. So, did you hear that there's a new Scooby-Doo live-action adaptation coming to Netflix? Yeah, I did. I'm wondering if it's a show or a movie. I heard show, but it's gonna take a lot of money to do that. And don't forget when she gave a final thank you from Kendricks in the finale. That's right, they did make peace, because Kendricks basically gave her blessing, and she thanks Corone for all she's done. And we never see Corone in the Lightspeed Rescue crossover, because we had the hot Kendricks back. Astronema does come back in the Megaforce crossover, but Megaforce sucks, so it's not worth your time. Let's do Destruxo, the weird talking samurai. We'll actually put him on Magna's successor. This guy came very close to stealing the Lights of Orion. He's the main villain of the final few episodes of the Lights of Orion arc. Tretcheron uses him. They fight over the lights. He actually gains the lights and gains a super-powered form, so he definitely won a lot of points on that because he nearly kills the Rangers. He's basically the villain that Kendricks and Maya double-team with their girl power. They kick his ass, really like his goofy voice. He looks like Bishaman if you see him up close. Yeah, Destruxo. I mean, 2 live-action movies already exist. I think you mean 5. You forgot The Mystery Begins, The Curse of the Lake Monster, and unfortunately Daphne and Velma, but that one sucks. His name is Decibat. Okay, that was the bat guy's name, Decibat. We'll put him on Dudbug. Even Shirkina found him annoying. So, Destruxo's gone on Magna's successor, really liked him, was a kick-ass villain, loved his Bishaman-looking samurai armor, and he did come close to finishing the Rangers and was the only monster of the week to wield the Lights of Orion. He actually succeeded at finding them, so that's what puts him very high. He is a Magna successor villain. Okay, sorry, I'm trying to recognize a lot of these. Let's put, Imposter Chandra. We'll put this guy on top of Beta Bug. This guy was the villain I mentioned earlier. He impersonates Maya's ex-best friend Chandra from Miranoi. He transforms into a sexy, or I think it's a she. She transforms into a sexy jungle girl just like Maya, tricks Maya into believing that it's her former best friend. However, really an undercover mole infiltrating Terra Venture to steal the Galactic Book. Nearly succeeds too, and love the sexy girl fight in her jungle girl form with Maya. That was definitely the hottest television ever. However, reveals her true form as this evil Anna Karis mummy-looking character who can shapeshift. Motor Mantis is next to Honor Manny. Yeah. Is Icy Angel there? Yeah, definitely. Is Samuron there? I think we did him already. Yeah, I'm trying to hone in on where Motor Mantis is. It's very hard because some of these images are hard to see. Anyways, the Imposter Chandra, really funny villain, liked how they played Maya, and we get to see another Maya and Kendrick's sexy girl fight against this evil monster, which is very satisfying, and Maya's the one who kills this monster, so yeah, definitely a worthy boss for her chapter. We'll put her on Beta Bug. Okay, I think this is Motor Mantis. It might be. Let me know if this green dude is the Motor Mantis. I think he is. We'll do Loyax. Loyax also going on Magna's successor. This is another villain for Maya. Basically, he's an old-fashioned warrior. He used to be a good guy until he realized that evil was undefeatable. He lost his honor, got older, got weaker, and he wants to go out on a final blaze of glory, assassinating the Power Rangers. He fights with Maya, is a total sexist towards her because she's a girl. A girl can't be a worthy opponent. However, Maya proves herself, proves that she's more badass than him, and Maya actually redeems Loyax. He has this very tragic backstory for a monster of the week, ends up controlled by Deviat into fighting the Rangers as a giant monster. However, Maya mercy kills him and defeats him and gives him this surprisingly touching final burial. Yeah, the Stingwingers are on there. Yeah, we did Magnetox already. He's down here on Beta Bug. Really liked his design and his powers. Loyax, he got actually a proper burial. Maya gives him an actual grave and burial at sea and tells him he went out with honor. He actually did good in the end, and Loyax was definitely an impressionable monster. So he's going on Magna's successor because he is worthy of respect. Okay, I think this is Motor Mantis from Mean Wheels Mantis. We'll also be putting him on Beta Bug. I'll put him under the Shark Brothers. This guy basically has a super duper motorcycle and challenges the Rangers to races and turns the girls into trophies. Maya and Kendrix become solid gold trophies. He holds them hostage, and Leo challenges him to a race where he gets his badass Ranger motorcycle, because there's always a badass Ranger motorcycle. Yeah, really liked his design. He looks like an evil Manny, but in a giant kaiju monster form. Races Leo, and of course Leo wins because he's got the super duper powers, and he talked to the animals, where Motor Mantis dies, turns into a giant monster, and gets killed again by a Megazord. Yeah, I'll put him on Beta Bug. Yep, Akira, the Stingwingers are on here. The Stingwingers are our henchmen of the season. They're the main villain minions, the enemies, the backup to all the monsters of the week and the generals. If you can't tell, the Stingwingers are actually ninja wasps. They have like stingers on their hands. They talk in buzzes like and they're the first minions I know who can actually fly. Yeah, we actually got minions who can fly. They have insect wings. They're basically mindless drones who serve Scorpius and Trakina. And believe it or not, the Stingwingers actually going on Galactic. Yep, we finally got our first S-tier henchmen. Personally, I think the Quantrons are better, but the Stingwingers are also awesome. The Stingwingers basically killer insect ninjas. They back up Trakina, Furio, all the generals, doing the bidding. They're basically expendable henchmen for the Power Rangers to beat up. However, the finale boosted them to S tier for one big reason. The Stingwingers get used as suicide bombers. Trakina has them attach bombs to themselves. They fly across buildings, fly on people, and fly against Megazords and suicide bomb them to death. Yeah, the Power Rangers actually had suicide bombers and kamikaze terrorists as our Power Ranger villains. Yeah, Triskull, I think this is him down here. If you're talking about the Lightspeed Rescue guy, though, he's on a different list. Like the Why the Girls into Trophies, like I'm glad Scooby-Doo never made the villains, never had Daphne into gold, because we have a gold villain in What's New Scooby-Doo. Yeah, I remember that episode. Wolf actually really liked that one, even if it didn't make sense. Yeah. Anyways, the Stingwingers, really awesome because they're used as suicide bombers. They're wearing bomb vests. They explode on buildings, take people down, almost kill the Power Rangers. They succeed at destroying the Megazords. They swarm them to death and use their suicide bomber vests to blow them sky high. So yeah, the Stingwingers actually took down Megazords, and really creepy looking kind of xenomorph looking cocoons they have. Like, Trakina's like hatching them out of a hive. Really awesome characters. I like the scary insectoid alien look they had going on, and they were a devastating force by the finale time. Much more devastating than the Batlings who blew up the Aqua base. Here they take down Terra Venture, so major cred under their belt. The sad thing is all the Stingwingers are now dead because Trakina used them all as expendable foot soldiers until she was the last one standing. Alright, I'm back, so where are we at now? Hey, Shadowlink, we're on the Stingwingers, who actually made it to S tier because they suicide bombed buildings on a kid's show, which made them really awesome. Is Starcog there? I believe he is, yeah. And Stingwingers really liked how threatening they were in the finale. They're lining up with bombs on their chests and blowing up Megazord's buildings, and even the Rangers nearly succeed at destroying Terra Venture. They knock it out of the sky and almost kill all the civilians, so they're very threatening. Personally, I think the Quantrons are a lot better, but the Stingwingers, definitely galactic level henchmen. We're putting them high up as our first S-tier expendable henchmen. Like we need a Scooby-Doo TV series tier list, might do that. Tomorrow is Mermaid Day. A million times better foot soldiers than the Loogies from Megaforce. Bro, everyone on this list is better than the Megaforce characters. Okay, Akira, you want Tri-Skull? We'll put him onto Beta Bug. I'll put him under the Shark Brothers. This guy was a pretty cool filler villain, not gonna lie. Really liked his design, but not too much in the personality department. Sorry, I'm trying to recognize some of these. Oh, is this the guy who actually stole the pink Quasar Saber? Yeah, we'll put him on Dudbug. Yeah, this guy basically found Kendrix's missing Quasar Saber and pawned it off to basically like a I'm trying to remember what's the word, like an auction. Yeah, that's it. He pawns it off to an auction sale and Deviat beats him up. And if you get beat up by Deviat, you are a lame villain. Speaking of which, the auction salesman also gone on Dudbug. Does anybody even remember this guy? I don't even think he counts as a villain. Basically, he tried to sell the Quasar Saber at an auction where Astronema scared him into giving it to him until Trakina ratted her out. And Trakina and Astronema fight over the Quasar Saber. Yeah, this guy going on Dudbug. Michael Sorek played Tri-Skull. Oh, did he now? I know Richard Epcar voiced a lot of these background characters. I think this is the Beetle guy you were talking about. There's like, for some reason, 2 of them on here. Yeah, I'll put the Scarab guy, both of them, onto Villamax Trainee. Trying to remember, I think he's caused like the earthquake or something. Yeah, we'll put him on Villamax Trainee, just another expendable villain. They're only memorable for better characters making fools out of them. Yeah, that was kind of the thing. Crumb Mummy? Yeah, he's on here. Let's do Crumb Mummy. I kid you not, this is the monster who stole women's beauty so he can give it to Trakina to make herself hotter. And Crumb Mummy actually made me laugh. I will put him on to Beta Bug. Yeah, I believe this is the mummy. He looks Egyptian, has that weird sandbag thing. Yeah, I don't see anyone else who looks like him on here. So this is definitely Crumb Mummy. Stolen Beauty, one of the greatest Power Ranger episodes of all time. I kid you not, Trakina hires this guy to steal all the beauty from women everywhere, where he turns it into gold sand for her to consume, and make herself hotter by taking their beauty, and he does this by throwing, like, sticky tape on their faces, and it's really cheesy and really funny. Like, feels like the villain Greco-Roman and Egyptian monster. Kind of. They took creative liberties with what a mummy actually is. Lost Galaxy really loved Egyptian monsters. I think they had more Egyptian monsters than Lightspeed Rescue ever did. Yeah, the mummy, pretty funny. He's also a really stupid guy because he's trying to compliment Trakina only to piss her off more, telling her that there may be better women out there, which upsets her and forces her to go out and ruin the competition. And hilariously, this guy's one funny moment is he almost doesn't recognize Trakina when she's disguised as Tracy. He steals, like, women off of beauty off of Terra Venture, almost attacks Trakina too, but Trakina reminds him that it's actually her. It's her in disguise, and he takes the beauty off of Sweet Maya and Kendrix, where they get those weird Lakers faces. Feels like a Sailor Moon episode. It's one of my favorite episodes, not gonna lie. Like how Bastet's a hot villainess. Is Bastet a villainess? She kind of goes back and forth. You want Cannon Brawl? I think this is him. Yeah, I'll put him... We'll put him on Beta Bug, because I really liked his design. Basically a giant wrecking ball villain. He was also pretty cool, but again, not too much character. Just a monster of the week who the Magna Defender, I believe, slayed. Did he do Chameleac yet? No, I think he's still on here. This might be him. Just trying to make sure I'm not mistaking these characters as something else. Okay, I think this is Chameleac. If not, then I apologize, but we'll count him as that because it looks like his weird, goofy mind control helmet he has on there. We'll put Chameleac onto Magna Successor. This is one of the fan favorite monsters of the weeks. Chameleac can copy his opponent's fighting style. He's the Taskmaster of Lost Galaxy. Basically, realizing how strong the Rangers are, Chameleac is hired because he's a copycat fighter. He studies his opponents like the Taskmaster, studies their moves, studies their abilities, studies their weaknesses, and programs that into his weird helmet to basically become a perfect clone warrior, but he knows their weaknesses too. Yeah, it's him. Okay, good, I did get him right. Chameleac, really awesome villain. Basically, he copies all the Rangers, the red, green, yellow, pink, and blue Ranger, copies their fighting styles, and they actually struggle against him, making him a real deadly monster of the week. They have to beat him by basically confusing him. They short-circuit his computer reading and do different movesets, like they do one of their friends' styles of combat or use one of their friends' weaponry, and hilariously has the funniest Megazord fight because the Megazord pulls out a gun and just shoots him. That was hilarious. I love how the Megazord pulls out a different Megazord's weapon and literally just shoots him. Just shoots him dead. Not even a kick-ass giant kaiju martial arts fight. Raikon is another Egyptian villain. Yeah, I believe he's on here. This was the one who personated Chandra, Maya's best friend. Chameleac, really cool villain. Liked his style. Liked how the Power Rangers essentially fought Taskmaster. So he's going on Magna Successor. Evil King Guy, basic starter villain, also going on to Dudbug. We'll put him under Decibat. I think this is who you're talking about, Icy Angel Akira. She honestly almost succeeds at killing the colony. She fires like a brainwashing arrow and it brainwashes Commander Stanton on here into nearly destroying Terra Venture. They almost fly close to a boiling star, which will destroy the colony if they fly too close, sucking them in with its gravitational pull. And really liked her Dark Angel design, so I might put her on Beta Bug, honestly. We'll put her above the Shark Brothers. Icy Angel, really cool villain design, really sick scheme, and nearly succeeds at destroying all of Terra Venture, so that definitely won her points. Wait, where did that come from? This does not compute. Yeah, love that moment. Indiana Jones would be proud. Like, better than Miracular and Miraculous. Yeah, because he actually had a funny defeat. Like, feels like the wife of the Icy Gosha from Hazbin Hotel. Yeah, it does kind of look like her. She has an Ice Angel kind of look. Like the Dark Angel look, so she'll go on Beta Bug. The Swabbies. I think no one's gonna argue with me. These guys are going on a Dead Bug. Basically, these are weird cartoon pirate guys. They serve Captain Mutiny. If you missed him, Captain Mutiny's on Villamax Trainee. Filler villain who went on for way too long. The Swabbies, not very good henchmen. They're basically guys wearing these weird off-putting cartoon pirate looks. They all look like weird shirtless men, but with googly eyes. The Swabbies Dudbug. They were no Stingwingers, that's for sure. Yeah, they sucked. Shark Bros color scheme reminds me of the Krat Bros. Yeah, the dark green and dark blue. I think this was the other samurai guy Akira mentioned. We'll also put him on Villamax Trainee. We'll put him under Artichoke because he didn't have a funny name. I don't remember who this bus guy is. Might have to put him on Villamax Trainee too. Yeah, sorry, getting a lot of filler villains. I guess we should do someone we recognize after one more. Oh, let's do this guy, the evil Spider-Man from one of the darkest episodes of Lost Galaxy, the Aliens parody. This guy actually might go up on Magnus' successor. We'll put him low, though. If you don't recognize him, he is a completely original villain from one of the scariest episodes of Lost Galaxy. Basically, he's a parody of the Xenomorph. He's this creepy Spider-Man who destroyed an entire ship. He actually succeeded at killing people. He destroyed like a Federation ship and cocooned it with his webs. It's kind of like aliens. They go in, explore, realize that this thing is the ultimate killing species, and he nearly succeeds at killing the Space Marines, including Mike and Leo. So he's kind of off screen for a while and kept very obscure, shadowy, in darkness, but man, did he really make that episode frightening. Mike and Leo are kind of outside of their Ranger armor for most of the episode. This one barely has the Rangers in it. It is this hardcore R-rated horror parody where basically this thing is picking off the Space Marines one by one, trapping them in its web, and trying to eat them. It wants to kill and eat the Space Marines. I thought that's what that guy was. Pretty great filler episode, the rescue mission. Yeah, really savage villain, and he comes close to killing Mike, but they give him an old-fashioned alien-style death. They jump across space, and he basically gets sent out of, like, into space through like opening an airlock, exactly like aliens, but he didn't live long enough to die of oxygen being deprived. He just gets blown up when the space station goes. Thanks, Spider-Man. Everybody gets one. Yeah. Yeah, we'll put him on Magnus' successor because that was an awesome filler episode with an awesome villain. The Rocket Man, one of Captain Mutiny's expendable thugs. This was the first villain of the Captain Mutiny arc, and yeah, he's going on Dudbug. We'll put him above the Swabbies because I liked his rocket head. It made him look like one of the Conehead Decepticons, but again, dumb filler villain. Let's do the Titanosaur. Basically, Captain Mutiny's giant pet Godzilla kaiju, the Titanosaur. We'll actually put him on Magnus' successor because he was legit cool. This is that weird giant space turtle that the sandcastle of Captain Mutiny parks on. Really like the Titanosaur. I'm surprised they didn't get sued by Godzilla for taking that name, since that's the name of one of Godzilla's foes. But yeah, the Titanosaur, really creepy, very overpowered kaiju. He was pretty much the true muscle behind Captain Mutiny's forces, and he has an epic battle with the Megazord. Yeah, I'll put him on Magnus' successor. Really awesome. I love me some Godzilla kaiju. Another samurai guy. We'll put you onto Dudbug. We'll put you above the Swabbies at least, because the Swabbies sucked. Alright, we actually are narrowing down our list pretty fast, mostly because I don't recognize a lot of these filler villains, but whatever. I don't remember who this guy was. I believe he hunted the Lights of Orion too. We'll put you on the Villamax trainee guy. Liked his design. I think this might be the Scarab guy that Akira mentioned. Alright, let's talk about a major player this time. Let's talk about Scorpius. Scorpius, going on to Magnus' successor. Scorpius is pretty much our fake-out villain. He is the main antagonist for at least half the show. Scorpius, if you can't tell, is this creepy giant spider hentai monster. He is the leader of the Insectoid Armada. He's a galactic conqueror who is after the Quasar Sabers because it has ultimate power, where he unfortunately runs afoul of the Power Rangers. He tries to kill Maya, nearly destroys Miranoi with his forces, tries to take the Power Ranger powers before the Rangers can get to him. However, the Rangers unite and eventually start combating him, becoming heroes standing in his path. Scorpius is I wouldn't say totally a main villain like Lord Zed or Astronema, but more so a warlord. He's trying to conquer territory and turf for the Insectoid Armada. He's flying around in his spaceship, trying to conquer galaxies, conquer planets. He used to be this big, bad, scary guy. Scorpius actually murdered the Magna Defender's son, so he won major points for that. Scorpius, if you can't tell, is a weird, creepy spider. Has a very unsettling appearance. Really, really terrifying Spider-Man, and he did get a high kill. He murders the Magna Defender's son. He's more so the Magna Defender's arch enemy than, Trecheron is. For a stationary guy, Scorpius was a pretty good fighter when the Rangers actually fought him. Yeah, that's the thing. He doesn't fight until his death episode. Brainbug from Starship Troopers is more better, yeah. So, unfortunately, Scorpius is kind of immobile for most of his appearances. He's kind of sitting and lazing about on this giant rock. He's kind of like a non-action kind of big bad for most of the series. He's sitting on his throne, commanding his forces. It isn't until Deviant deceives him by telling him that the Rangers have taken Trakina hostage. He has a falling out with his daughter Trakina because he wants her to enter his magic cocoon. The cocoon will help her become overpowered, but she has to shed her hot beauty and become a full-blown insect like him and the Stingwingers. Trakina doesn't like that because she wants to keep her hotness and looks, causing her to run away. So Scorpius tries to find her, and Deviant comes in and basically tricks him and orchestrates his death. He lies to Scorpius, telling him the Rangers have taken his daughter and are threatening to kill her, where Scorpius finally gets off his throne and throws down with the Rangers, and surprisingly, he proves to be a very difficult boss fight. He has like his weird hentai tentacles, he's flailing the Power Rangers across the room, fighting them, nearly killing them. Eventually, Leo ultimately kills him by stabbing him in the back. Leo blows him up, stabs him across his backside. He dies, but is able to retreat to his ship. He nearly passes everything on to Deviant, but Trakina shows up at the last second, and we get, honestly, a really sad, heartwarming tearjerker scene where he and Trakina finally make up, and we see Scorpius did have a redeemable side. Scorpius truly loved his daughter, and they make peace, and he passes his empire on to her, telling her that she'll make a fine warrior, and he's so proud of her, and they apologize, make amends, and Scorpius dies, turning into cosmic space dust like Odin from Thor Ragnarok. And comes off as a green Muppet alien from Disney, can of worms, but in insectoid form. Yeah, really liked his design. Scorpius was an original character, so he was 100% a Muppet they made for the show. Really liked his design, liked his voice. Really surprising that he died too, because you think he's gonna be the main villain, but nope, it's actually Trakina who takes over his villain mantle, and he is the catalyst for everything that happens to Trakina, forging her into the ultimate big bad of Power Rangers. And his death scene was legit sad. Despite his evil psychotic attitude, his love for Trakina was genuinely real. They were kind of the Ranzik and Nadira of the show. Unfortunately, unlike Ranzik and Nadira, neither of these two got redeemed. So Scorpius I will put on Magna's successor because he was a pretty good fake-out villain, and he paved the road for Trakina to rise to power. Okay, I think this is the Cog guy that Akira talked about. Put him on to Villamax trainee. Another evil insect guy. Well, put him onto Villamax trainee. Sorry, I don't remember some of these one-shot villains. They're basically filler boss fights for the Power Rangers while Trakina got the real character development. I don't remember who this guy was at all. I don't think he was even in the show. We'll put him on to Villamax trainee, but low. Cybernetic Insect. Okay, we'll put you on Beta Bug. Really liked his design. Looks more like they got a Sentai image of him, but I don't remember this guy had a fierce boss fight with the Megazords. trying to remember who this guy was with the weird overcoat. I think this... Sorry, so again, one-shot characters, not much to them. We'll put you onto Dudbug, weird gorilla-looking guy. I can't even tell who this guy is, it's too dark. Alright, we'll put this weird bull-looking guy onto Villamax Trainee. Sorry guys, but that's what you get when you have one-shot villains. Alright, let's talk about a main character. Let's talk about Alpha. Alpha going on to Magna's successor. I mean, was there really any doubt? Alpha is the quirky robot assistant. He used to be a servant to Zordon until Zordon died, and the show has been juggling Alpha's role on the series ever since. So if you don't know, Alpha is voiced by Wendy Lee, taking over from Invader Zim from the last show. So this is after In Space. Alpha has now retired and became a museum curator. Deca and the In Space spaceship is now a part of Terra Venture as like this Power Ranger museum. Yeah, they converted the ship into like a Power Ranger museum. It's dedicated to pretty much every Power Ranger from Mighty Morphin to Andros' space team, and it's a part of Terra Venture apparently because of its high tech. I believe they used a part of the ship's blueprints to form Terra Venture. Eventually, Kai recruits Damon and Alpha to help him. They're both working on board the Space Museum, and Alpha immediately snaps back into action, becoming the Ranger's personal assistant once more. Alpha doesn't get too much to do, but is basically once again a friend of the Power Rangers, helping them, working on the sides, fixing their Zords, built them those cool Space Jammer vehicles, and comes off as a green Muppet at them. So, Kat, care to give us a hint of what the next tier list will be for Power Rangers or something else? I might go back to doing a movie tier list. If I do a Ranger show, it might be SPD because I'm currently watching that one right now, but future tier lists, I think I might do a Batman tier list. I'm currently working on a video also, so that may take time. I wanted to do Lost Galaxy because it's currently the last show I finished. So, I really like Alpha. He's a lot better than when he was on Turbo, that's for sure. Alpha's never been, like, a fan, like, never been a vital character to Power Rangers, but another, like, basically personal assistant. Alpha doesn't really become important until the finale, where they lose the Deca and the spaceship. The in-space space base is destroyed. Alpha is barely rescued by Leo. He saves him, and they land on the new colony, which is actually Miranoi. And Alpha is there with the Rangers in this final show. This is Alpha's, I believe, last mainstream show that had Alpha, before he got a cameo working with Andros in the Wild Force crossover. Dang, I missed Maya. Yes, you did, Jon Snow. Maya's up here in S tier where she belongs, along with Trakina and Kendrix and Astronema. Alpha is better in the series than the 2017 version for sure. Yeah, that's because they ruined Alpha's design. I actually really loved Alpha's look as a kid. But yeah, Alpha, glad Alpha got one final show to be a main character. We'll put him on Magna's successor thanks to everything he's done for the Rangers since the beginning. So, very good they gave him a send-off and didn't kill him off. Alpha was a fun side comic relief character to have around for many Rangers. Yeah, except on Turbo, where they made him funky, fresh, and annoying. Yeah, Alpha will put on Magna's successor. Let's get Commander Stanton out of the way. This guy is the commander of Terra Venture, and unfortunately going on to Beta Bug. This guy was supposed to be the Captain Picard of the show. He's basically the role model, the big good. He's supposed to be the mentor figure, but he barely does anything, and that's kind of his problem. He was really underused. He was completely overshadowed by Captain Mitchell next season as the reasonable authority figure. He's the good guy, the good squad leader, the commander amongst his troops, a father to his men. It's implied he might know that his coworkers are the Power Rangers because he believes their BS stories, backs them up, and helps cover their identities, but tragically very unexplored. Commander Stanton was basically kind of just there. That's why we're putting him on Beta Bug. He was male Princess Shayla. Yeah. Except he didn't get captured as much as her. Well, actually, he was in Once a Ranger in Operation Overdrive, and he had a disgrading voice so bad that it made Turbo's Alpha voice sound good. Poor Alpha. Ay, 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 ay. Commander Stanton could have been something great, but ended up being a very basic character that you kind of forget was even on the show. Captain Mitchell, way better than him. Speaking of which, Bulk and Professor Phenomenus. Yes, Bulk without Skull and Professor Phenomenus are in this show. They honestly didn't do much either. They got as much screen time as Captain Stanton did. Yeah, Bulk and Professor Phenomenus from the In Space series come back in this, and they're basically comic relief background characters. They were supposed to have a larger role, but unfortunately, Lost Galaxy decided to actually give the main characters more screen time. This one kind of hurts, but I know everybody loves Bulk, and Professor Phenomenus is hilarious, but they're joining Captain Stanton in Beta Bug. Yeah, I'll put them slightly above them thanks to their past history, but yeah. Basically, they are recruited to join Terra Venture, and they forgot something. Skull! They lost Skull because the actor couldn't come back, and basically are the comic relief missing their third stooge. Yeah, they were much better in Space than in Lost Galaxy. They were just there. Yeah, that kind of hurt. They were just basically glorified cameos. If you've never seen any of the prior Power Ranger shows, you will not know who the hell these guys are. They were major comic reliefs in Mighty Morphin and Turbo, then were funny side characters in Space, and honestly, I agree with Linkara. Bulk and Skull's redemption arc was kind of done and over with there. Then they were glorified cameos in Lost Galaxy. They show up on the boarding party episode, they crack a joke about how Skull doesn't come back, and honestly kind of appear on and off in between like 20 episodes. I do love how they fawn over Trakina and her hotness montage. That was pretty funny of them. And they don't come back until the finale where they basically help people evacuate. Bulk and Professor Phenomenus were tragically underutilized on this show, and it does not surprise me that they never got them back until years later, where Bulk shows up, I believe in Samurai again, which was cool, but yeah, this was not their best season. In Space, way better. Who should Leo have ended up with? Who do you think? Yeah, that's right. So, Leo is kind of shipped with both Maya and Kendrix, and even Karone kind of got some action from him. Personally, if I was Leo, I would prefer Maya. One, Maya's hotter, but two, it seemed like Leo and Maya spent more time together than he did with any of the other girls. Some people actually ship Leo with Trakina, which is hilarious, but yeah. I think Leo and Maya would have been a way better couple because they were both kind of the outcasts. They both hang out with each other, and Maya was more so the Ranger mentor figure than Leo was. So I would have preferred they ended up together, but allegedly there were plans that he and Kendrix were going to finally hook up and get a relationship upgrade, but tragically went nowhere, and presuming how Joel hits on her and Maya in the Lightspeed Rescue crossover, they did not end up together. Bulk and Skull cameoed in Forever Red, so that was nice. Yeah, they're like Tommy's butlers, which is hilarious because they used to pick on the guy and now they're kissing Tommy's ass. Yeah, Leo and Maya definitely would have been a better couple because it felt like they had more of a connection. Bulk and Professor Phenomenus. Tragically, we don't have Professor Phenomenus anymore. I believe Bulk became a scientist in Samurai or some later series, but yeah, not utilized very well here. Okay, I can't tell who this is. We'll put this one onto Villamax Trainee. I think this is the weird Mantis guy, too. Not the Mean Wheels Mantis, but we'll put him on Beta Bug just to be safe. Evil Knight guy. I do remember this guy. We'll also put him on Beta Bug. He's this weird superpowered Dark Knight kind of guy. Not Batman Dark Knight, medieval Dark Knight. He fights the Rangers, tries to take the lights of Orion, and is basically a filler villain for a higher story. Don't remember who this guy is. We'll put him onto Dud Bug. And let's get our last one-shot monster out of the way. Also don't know who this is. We'll put him onto Villamax Trainee. Sorry guys, but there's a lot of wasted characters here. Skullacron was cool, the Skeleton Knight who basically trapped the Rangers within mirrors. Okay, that's who he was. Alright. Okay, we'll put him up a little higher then. We'll put him past Furio at least. Yeah, this guy trapped them in, like, those mirrors, and Leo and Mike worked together for the first time since Mike came back. Okay, we'll put him on Beta Bug. Alright, final 5, and they're all important characters. Alright, you waited this long. Let's talk the Magna Defender. The OG Magna Defender. We are counting Mike as a separate character. Our 6th Ranger, the Batman Ranger. Magna Defender is going up high on Galactic. Yeah, I'll put him above Leo. This is our 6th Ranger, the Magna Defender, a cosmic space warrior with pseudo Power Ranger powers, who is the guardian of the lights of Orion, and was once a great avenger of the Lost Galaxy. I miss Tracy, dang it, I still remember that lipstick scene. Yeah, Trakina was pretty hot. I might have something talking about that again soon, but yeah. Okay, Magna Defender, awesome. Balls to the wall, cool, kick-ass bad guy. He's actually starts out as kind of villainous, but slowly but surely gets a great redemption arc. The Magna Defender is defending the lights of Orion. He bumps into the Power Rangers, and the Rangers are trying to help redeem him, help him change from his ways, become good again, restore his faith and justice in the world. Magna Defender, a lot more of an anti-hero. He does not care about civilian casualties. He is obsessed with trying to get revenge against Scorpius, Tretron, and their empire. He is a complete danger to basically everyone else around him and does not care about saving people, but the Rangers slowly but surely start reaching him, help him see the error of his ways, help him redeem himself, and remember who he's fighting for. Do you think the Magna Defender gas as a human, or has, okay. Do you think the Magna Defender has a human/alien form, or is just the armor? They imply he's a ghost, but I believe he's an alien under there. Yeah, the Magna Defender was badass. He totally was one of the greatest 6 Rangers ever. My personal favorite Lost Galaxy Ranger even owned a toy of the Dagger Blaster as a kid. I remember having an action figure of this guy, and I was shocked to realize Lost Galaxy was the show he was from. So did you know that in the Sentai, the Magna Defender's son was actually just his little brother? No, I did not know that. I actually cried when he died. Pretty much a fallen hero, working alone, and definitely gets a good redemption arc after sacrificing himself to save Terra Venture. Yeah, Magna Defender was one of the best characters of the show, and Lost Galaxy quickly improved as soon as this guy joined the scene. So we find out this guy is a total hard-ass and given up on life, became a fallen hero because his son was killed by Scorpius. Sorry, we don't have the son on here, but yeah, he would have been up here too. His son, Zika, something with a Z. Like, Zika got killed trying to protect his dad from Scorpius, and the loss of his son basically broke him. He became a depressed, bitter knight in sour armor, a fallen hero, and basically, the memories of his son start to come back. He realizes that he's been fighting for his son all along. He imagines what his son would think of him now. And eventually, he gets one of the best redemption arcs ever. He starts working with the Rangers, sees the error of his ways, and In his grand final stand, a Monster of the Week nearly destroys Terra Venture, and he sacrifices himself to destroy this Doomsday device. We get this tragic hallucination where he imagines what his son would say to him, how he spent one last time with his son in his mind, and how he's basically dying, getting electrocuted and shredded by this death machine before he sacrifices himself and destroys it, saving the colony and going out in a final heroic blaze of glory, redeeming himself. And he passes the powers on to Mike. If you don't know, Mike was possessed by the Magna Defender. He was dying in the bottom of like this bottomless pit until Mike fell in, where he fused his soul with his body to live again. Mike had taken the form of his consciousness, is inside of him being his moral compass, and he realizes Mike is right, and Mike becomes the new Magna Defender. He passes the powers on to him, and the original Magna Defender dies in this epic blaze of glory. So the Magna Defender is not a 6th Ranger, he's an extra hero. He's an extra hero at first, but then when he becomes Mike, the new Magna Defender, is the 6th Ranger, and yeah, we'll put him up here. We'll put him under Leo and Corona at least. Yeah, this is Mike. He's the big brother of Leo. He's the one who died in the pilot. However, it turns out he was not dead. He was saved by the Magna Defender, who his ghost possessed and fused with him to become the new Magna Defender. Once the OG guy dies, he passes the power on to Mike. Mike takes up his sword and his steed, his Toro Zord and all that jazz, and he becomes the official 6th Ranger once Mike is in the armor. I see you placed him below Maya. Speaking of Maya, I remember there was a Mandela effect where fans thought she wore sandals in the series, only for it to reveal to be boots. Yeah, surprisingly for a jungle princess, she has really sexy go-go boots. Also, it's pretty cool how he merges with his Toro Zord whenever he does a Megazord fight. Well, him and Mike, technically, since we know who ends up being the new Defender. Yeah, if you don't know, the Magna Defender actually becomes his Megazord. He's not piloting it, he becomes it. He like fuses with a Super Zord armor and then goes and fuses with his Toro Zord, where he literally becomes a kaiju giant kicking ass alongside the Rangers. Really cool. Love the Magna Defender, both the OG guy and Mike. Mike basically becomes a more honorable defender. He's fighting alongside the Rangers. His voice is not as badass as the first guy because Mike is still very young, but yeah, really kick-ass heroes. Mike tragically loses the Magna Defender power in the penultimate arc. In Captain Mutiny's one accomplishment, Mike loses his Magna Defender power and Toro Zord sacrifices itself, opening up the portal to escape the Lost Galaxy. Yeah, Captain Mutiny's only accomplishment, he dethrones the Magna Defender. Mike loses the powers, his Transformer, his Morpher gets like destroyed in battle. It's completely broken. He loses his powers, and his Toro Zord sacrifices itself, saving Terra Venture by opening up the space portal, where it's unfortunately destroyed, being shredded by the interdimensional pole. You will carry off the work we began. You will be the Magna Defender. Me? It is your destiny. Not sure, but wasn't character in the Ranger series who had a sibling who was kidnapped by the enemy and made into an enemy in the series? That's Astronema. Yeah, right here. Yeah, Andros and Astronema are siblings, and she got captured and brainwashed by Darkonda and Dark Spectre. She became kind of an evil cyborg, evil warrior princess, basically. Andros eventually broke her free in the finale. Anyways, Magna Defender, of course, awesome. The 6th Ranger is always awesome, and a Power Ranger Batman is definitely an awesome design, so both of them are going in Galactic. I'm surprised he didn't kill her off. When's the next stream? I don't know. This weekend I'm going to be working on an actual video, so might be a bit time. My next stream might be a Batman themed ranking, but we'll see where that goes. Anyways, Magna Defender, of course he's galactic. Alright, final 3, and they're all great characters. Alright, I gotta use the restroom, but you guys cast your vote. Final 3, let's go. BRB. Alright, Galactic Cat is back. What'd you guys vote for? Villamax for last. Let's do the other Rangers. Okay. I don't really know Power Rangers, so the guy in the middle. I mean Damon. Alright. Green Ranger. Alright, we'll do Damon, our Green Ranger. Damon, the mechanic, the master genius, the blue-collar ranger who questioned his basically hero mantle. Damon honestly might go on to Magna's successor. Yeah, I'll put him above Tretron because he was a main character. Damon, really awesome Green Ranger. Not one of my favorites, especially when you remember Tommy Oliver was the first Green Ranger. Damon, really like him. He's the funny comic relief ranger. Basically, he's just a guy who's doing his job. Damon is the chief engineer on Terra Venture. He's the only one in the group who's completely reluctant about being a Power Ranger. Basically, Damon's just a guy doing his job. He's this lowly blue-collar tech worker. He worked on the Power Ranger Museum alongside Alpha. He initially tried to reject being a Power Ranger. However, Kai convinces him and wins him over, where they go off to save their friends across the Lost Galaxy. Damon manages to pull out his sword in the stone, becoming the Green Galactic Ranger. And Damon honestly got a lot less episodes compared to everyone else. He is unfortunately our out of focus ranger, but I do kind of like him because he's actually funny. Basically, he treats being a ranger like it's no big deal. He's at first very insecure about being a Power Ranger because he doesn't believe he's a hero, but over time, Damon slowly but surely grows more confidence. His arc is becoming confident in himself, believing that he is worthy of being a ranger, becoming a true badass Green Ranger like his friends are. Sabretooth, that would have been awesome. Fun fact, there was supposed to be a Batman the Brave and the Bold movie in the Spider-Verse art style, but was canned. Oh, that's a shame. Alright, so I really like Damon. He's funny, he very quippy, very snarky, sassy, quick to make fun of the other Rangers. He and Leo actually feel like bros. He gets along with Leo the most because Damon doesn't think he's special either, and Leo's a well-known troublemaker. I believe he had a few episodes. My favorite of his is where he has to help fix Trakina's ship. Basically, Trakina takes this councilwoman held hostage and needs Terra Venture's chief engineer in exchange for her because she needs her Scorpion ship fixed. And Damon, of course, is the best engineer ever. He goes aboard and basically gets confidence in himself, helps fix Trakina's ship, and saves the senator, realizing that Trakina is obviously a liar, and he and Leo pull off basically a perfect rescue mission with just the two of them. He was more of the comic relief mechanic, didn't get many focused episodes, but they definitely were pretty good when they were. Yep, Damon pretty simple guy, basically the character the kids relate with. He's insecure about himself, questions his ranger duties, and we find out he is special after all because he does have talent as a tech genius, and he was worthy of being the Green Ranger. He's unfortunately our out of focus ranger. There's always one or two characters that don't get focus, and Damon tragically was one of them. All the other were definitely more vital. Leo, Maya, Kendrix at least had her death, and Kai actually had a much better character arc. So, our Green Ranger, I'm putting on Magnus Successor. I do love how he always complains about being a distraction. Lost Galaxy mocked the hell out of the black guy always dies cliche, but Damon was a Power Ranger badass, so of course he never died. That was pretty funny that they actually poke fun of the black guy who always dies in action stories. No, Damon rocks. He's very cool. Unfortunately, he also didn't get to do much in the Lightspeed Rescue team up, but hey, he and Kendrix get a badass hero moment. So we'll put Damon onto Magnus Successor. He made me laugh. Alright. Finally, our Blue Ranger, Kai. This might surprise a lot of you, but Kai actually might make it on Galactic. Yeah, Kai is one of my favorite Blue Rangers ever, and his character arc is definitely one of the most compelling and surprisingly deep for a Blue Ranger. Quick question, would you watch a Power Rangers where all the Rangers were siblings? Full House Rangers. Honestly, that could work. I could definitely see that as a thing. I'm not sure who had 5 to 6 children, but yeah, that could work. Anyways, Kai, I really liked him. Loved his character development. Kai is basically uptight, hard-ass, by-the-book cop, takes everything seriously, has a stick up his butt, really doesn't like these ragtag bunch of misfit rangers he's partnered with. However, Kai's arc is basically he becomes a nice guy. He goes from this cold-hearted, dead serious soldier douche into a friend among the Rangers, becoming a big brother figure, becoming their family, being nicer, and actually laughing and having fun with the other Rangers. I did have one idea based on the Ranger series that involves a military commander and a military organization who plan to destroy all worlds that have life on them, capture any aliens that come to Earth. That sounds like an interesting idea, Sabretooth. So, I actually like Kai because he starts out as kind of uptight and really dickish. He does not like Leo. He is not a fan of Leo at all, and I believe Kai had a crush on Kendrix in the first few episodes. It kind of disappeared. Kai very clearly crushes on Kendrix, but Kendrix is into that suave bad boy Leo, which made Kai very jealous. Kai does not like Leo. Leo tried getting a job as a military officer on Terra Venture, and Kai was very uptight about it. They have this funny odd couple kind of banter. Kai gets into trouble for Leo's screw-ups. Kai comes across as kind of a Benson-like boss against Leo. However, they do kind of show you that both sides have a point. Kai is kind of being petty and jealous, but he is right that Leo does have to grow up and start taking responsibility. Leo is right that Kai is too mean and he does have to loosen up, but he does start to respect Kai and realize how serious the job is, realizing that Kai does have a fair point. Love how Kai mostly grew to respect Leo, since he at first was hesitant from the first episode. Yeah, that's what made him very great. Also, thanks. No problem, Sabretooth. Kai was never really a douche, just a stick in the mud. Yeah, that is much more appropriate. I will agree with you, Ira. Kai was kind of a downer. He is not one of the more friendly Rangers because he's always dead serious. Over time, Kai became a lot more likable, and I was kind of surprised how much focus he had and surprisingly great character development. He goes from a stick-in-the-mud downer who's jealous of Leo into becoming true friends among the Rangers. He's the cook. He has these petty childish squabbles with the other Rangers. He grows to respect Leo, and by the end of the finale arc, he and Leo are like total bros. Kai's like making a joke about how, remember you were a stowaway, I almost kicked off the ship. Yeah, any regrets? Not a one. Really nice bro moment between them. Kai is basically the blue gorilla. I forgot to mention, Damon is a condor. No, it is not a dragon, it's a green condor, but trust me, I fell for that too. Kai is basically the blue gorilla, which makes sense because he has a lot of pent-up rage, but he's also very hardcore and a very strong character. Kai falls in love with a girl. I thought it was Trakina at first, but no, it was some other girl he had a crush. The Blue Crush episode definitely humanized him a lot more. Kai slowly but surely evolves. He gains respect from his personnel, actually fulfills his character arc by becoming the commander's right-hand man. Kai goes from a rookie cadet to trying to be like Mike to eventually gaining the commander's respect, and very satisfying end to his character arc. Kai is at last promoted to the Inner Council and is on the bridge full-time. He helps save Terra Venture the most when it's invaded by Trakina. He's helping escort and evacuate civilians, taking command, taking charge, and it is very great seeing Kai, honestly, grow up throughout the series and basically become friends among the Rangers. Blue Ranger was really awesome on this show, so he's going on Galactic. Speaking of which, speaking of regular show, you know Rigby was the one who caused most of the problems of the show, like when he summoned a demon from that video game, the Destroyer of Worlds, or when he got that wall buddy. Yeah, Rigby was definitely a cause behind a lot. And last but not least, a pretty honorable epic villain from Lost Galaxy, Villamax. Yeah, I love this guy. I do too, which is why Villamax is also going on to Galactic. We'll put him above Mike, but under Astronema because she just had more. So let's end this on a high note with Villamax. Villamax honestly feels like a huge apology for how they handled Ecliptor. Villamax is basically an honorary warrior. He is basically Trakina's coach. When Trakina's running away, she bumps into Villamax at this bad guy bar. Villamax saves her life and pretty much offers Trakina a chance to become a great warrior because he's a badass trainer. He can train the greatest warriors ever and teach them to become even better villains than before. Trakina reluctantly accepts his deal and basically she becomes, Villamax and Trakina basically become close friends. They're a mentor-student friendship. Villamax teaches Trakina the ways of the warrior and gives her her Rocky montage where he finally shapes Trakina into a good villain. Oh, Emily, you finally made it just in time for the end. We're on Villamax right now. Not to mention when he sabotaged Mordecai's chances to go to college. Yeah, that was awful of Rigby. That meant he also did the Solids episode. That was bad. It's Wolfen time. Don't know jack shit about this season, so I'm going to assume all your takes are based and Grayson pilled. Carter Grayson's not in this season, Emily. Hey, Emily, glad you can make it. At Emily. Lost Galaxy, very good season. It is a phenomenal season. One of my top 5 favorite seasons. I know Time Force is way better, and I do like Lightspeed Rescue a whole lot, but Lost Galaxy has some of my favorite characters ever, such as Villamax. So, he shapes Trakina up into a better villainess, so major props there. Basically, he's this cool old guy, a honorable warrior, kind of the Ecliptor to her Astronema, basically, and Ecliptor to Deviat's Darkonda. Basically, Villamax becomes Trakina's new right-hand man. Villamax and Deviat basically share co-commander slot for Trakina's forces, and he does not like Deviat. He sees him as the treacherous backstabber bitch he really is. He helps Trakina, serves her, cooks up a lot of plans to defeat the Rangers. However, they surprisingly give this guy a great redemption arc in the finale. So, after Trakina fuses with Deviat, becoming an insane, monstrous conqueror, Villamax is utterly disgusted with Trakina's newfound villain methods. Trakina uses the Stingwingers as suicide bombers, all-out war on Terra Venture, and Villamax does not like it because there's no honor in killing helpless civilians, there's no honor in basically sacrificing your own loyal troops, and Trakina does not care about even conquering these people anymore. It's now about killing them. Basically, mindless destruction, mindless killing, and wasting all your loyal troops, wasting the people who look up to you, and kind of destroying the Empire more than it is building it up. Well, this was fun. Looking forward to the next tier list cat and the next review, by the way. Until next time, see you, Christopher. Glad you at least watched all of their rankings. So, at the end, Villamax actually has a very good redemption arc, and it is a huge apology for how they did Ecliptor in. If you don't know, Ecliptor, one of the best characters from In Space, was Astronema's foster dad, and he unfortunately got an unfair death being killed by the Z-Wave. Yeah, he wasn't redeemed like Rita, Zed, or Divatox. Ecliptor was full-blown killed, and a lot of fans did not like that, so Villamax kind of got basically what they should have given Ecliptor, a nice redemption arc and a tragic death. Ah yes, when he saves the girl in the 3-part finale. That was a very touching scene, young kid. Yeah, thanks. You are welcome. Yeah, I thought your military commander idea, Rangers, was a good idea. You've learned nothing. Yeah, great line. Villamax basically saves a little girl. She's lost and scared in the confusion. Villamax does not kill civilians, and that was a huge highlight to him. Villamax sees no honor in killing helpless civilians, shooting down children and all that. He helps a lost little girl, does not like that Trakeena is killing civilians. He saves this little girl, she gives him a flower, and Villamax helps her find her mommy. The girl and her mom reunite, and this touches Villamax's heart and realizes the error of his ways. Eventually, he returns to Trakeena, and they're trying to shoot down escape pods, kill evacuating civilians who can't fight back, and this is where Villamax finally draws the line. They're shooting like escape shuttles and escape pods, and basically, Trakeena orders him to mow them all down. Villamax refuses that. Villamax does not do it. Villamax reveals that he is disgusted with what Trakeena's become, leading to a fight scene between them. However, Villamax can't kill her because Trakeena was kind of a daughter figure for him. He was kind of her replacement father after Scorpius died. Basically, he can't do it, but Trakeena, or corrupted Trakeena, kills him. It seems you've taught me too well. You've learned nothing. And boom, Trakeena shoots him, zaps him to death, stomps on the flower the little girl gave him, and Villamax dies. A very tragic death that really humanized him and made him very compelling. Basically, everything Ecliptor should have gotten in his finale, and that's what made him very good. There was a 3-part finale. Yes, Sabretooth, Lost Galaxy has a 3-part pilot and a 3-part finale. It is the final arc, so it makes sense. It's kind of a movie, at least. But again, it's debatable about him saying these words to Trakeena because of her transformation and whether or not it's her. Yeah, I've talked about that multiple times. It's still kind of up in the air how much of it is Trakeena or Deviat, because Deviat was the one who hated Villamax. Deviat was the one who conspired to kill him, and Trakeena killing him definitely felt out of nowhere, which is why people theorize Deviat is controlling Trakeena and finally finished their rivalry by offing Villamax. I kind of believe that might have been a thing. But anyways, yeah, really like Villamax. I loved him, and he surprisingly got a very good redemption arc. Basically, one of the saddest deaths on the show, and a huge redemption for the Rangers after they kind of gave Ecliptor a FU in his death scene. So, a very satisfying and very tragic end to his character, but it showed how monstrous Trakeena truly became. Either with Deviat's influence or when she became her final monster form, Villamax is definitely a galactic badass, and all these years he is definitely a god among tragic villains. So he's gone on galactic. And if you're here now, we completed our list. We talked about everybody. I'll go over it one last time for anyone who hasn't heard. Don't worry, I'll speed through all the one-shot monsters. Also, did you know there are Galactic Railways references in Lightspeed Rescue and the Super Train? From It Takes Off and the whole Space Train part, I think. I did not know that was an homage to Lost Galaxy. I know the Galaxy Rangers met them, but didn't know they used the same tech. Okay, so take a snapshot of the list if you haven't seen. Got a lot more good up here, and more so generic monsters. Not too bad. Alright, so the bad, all a bunch of one-shot monsters. The Swabby sucked. The Rocket Man sucked. The Tank Guy was an expendable idiot. The Auction Guy and the Skeezy Hobo don't even deserve to be on this list. But yeah, these are all dud bugs. Basically a bunch of forgettable monsters. And the god-awful Swabbies. Villamax Trainee. Again, more one-shot villains. Captain Mutiny's down here because he could have been so good, but they dragged him out for way too long. I did not like Captain Mutiny by the end of his arc because he stuck around for way too long. Yeah, I know he was supposed to be the original Sentai villain, but that did not make up for how much focus he got. Trakeena way better all the way. It is done. Sorry I missed it. We're going over it one last time. This is Dragon Ranger signing off. Great tier list. Sorry I missed so much of it. Don't worry, Jon Snow. It'll be public. Anyways, Beta Bug. Kegler's down here. He was alright. Furio was fine, but anticlimatically killed off. Love Freaky Tiki's design. The Mirror Knight guy, definitely a decent and threatening villain, along with the Magnet dude and the Cannonball guy. Hexaba had a lot of great episodes. I kind of wish Hexaba was the real main villain over Captain Mutiny, but hey, what are you gonna do? Motor Mantis is up here, Akira, along with Crumb Mummy, Tri-Skull. The Shark Brothers, really cool minions. Liked Icy Angel's form, and her evil plan almost succeeded. Sadly, Commander Stanton did not do much for me. Captain Mitchell was way better. Bulk and Professor Phenomenus, if this was an in-space tier list, they would have made it to S tier, but unfortunately, Lost Galaxy did not utilize them well. Chandra Impersonator, we'll put her on Beta Bug because she had a sexy cat fight with Maya. And the Cruncher Monster was a really threatening beast, not gonna lie. We'll also put him on Beta Bug. So, Magna Successor, Titanosaur, really awesome kaiju monster, way cooler than his master. Evil Spider-Man, scary monster and really scary episode. Chameleac, awesome villain, one of the few memorable one-shot monsters. Alongside Loyax, actually good tragic villain, and subtle foreshadowing to Villamax's heel face turn. Really liked Loyax and glad Maya gave him a proper burial. And Destruxo, the evil samurai, nearly won with the Lights of Orion, but unfortunately was outplayed by Trakeena. Power Rangers Jungle Fury tier list? Maybe, but I'm on SBD right now. Alpha, really like him. Much better in other Power Ranger shows. He's the cute comic relief robot and is still pretty good on Lost Galaxy. Scorpius, underrated monster villain. He was easily outclassed by his more evil daughter, but really liked him. Really liked his design, liked that he was original villain, and when he finally got his tendrils dirty, he really kicked ass. Trecheron, actually one of the better generals. I did like him way more than Furio, and he had an honorable duel with the Red Ranger, which was pretty kick-ass and mature for a kid's show. And top of Magna's successor, our Green Ranger Damon. Funny character, but tragically way too out of focus. And finally, our Galactic, our S tier. Kai, one of my favorite Blue Rangers ever, one of the best mellowing out arcs. Really liked him and Leo going from enemies to total bros. He is one of my favorite Blue Rangers, and of course, he's still S tier. Stingwingers, really awesome henchmen, very creepy, evil bug ninja goons, and what promoted them this high is that they suicide bomb the enemy. Love the suicide bombing tactics they do. Really hardcore for a kid's show. I know it was pre-9/11, but really surprisingly mature and kick-ass. Definitely on the same page as the Quantrons, I'll admit. Psycho Rangers, awesome villains. They were awesome on In Space, and yep, they're still awesome here. The Psycho Rangers are my favorite Power Ranger villains ever, and Lost Galaxy totally did them justice. Kendrix. Kendrix is an awesome Pink Ranger. Hot, kick-ass, smart, lethal, deadly warrior. Liked how she's a science hero. Liked how she's one of the friendlier Rangers, and she has a mark in Power Rangers history as being the first Pink Ranger ever to die, so that made her definitely galactic worthy. Deviant, awesome Starscream villain, really kick-ass, loved his voice, loved his evil planning, loved how he was a legit threat to his boss unlike most Starscream knockoffs. He succeeded at taking Trakina with him and did ruin her life in the end, so we'll put him high up. Mike, awesome Magna Defender, awesome 6th Ranger. Tragic that he lost his powers, which means he'll never come back, but I can see why Mike's the ace. Villamax, awesome villain, awesome noble demon character, and very tragic death scene. He is one of the best villains ever, and although I think Frax is a better version of him, he is definitely cool in his own right. Corona's redemption arc is complete in this series. Really loved how she went from the evil Astronema into one of the best Pink Rangers ever. Leo, one of the best Red Rangers ever. I love him. He is a great main character. A total Luke Skywalker for Power Rangers. So glad Danny Slavin at least came back for the crossovers, even if he had behind-the-scenes issues with people, but I will defend that Leo is one of the best Red Rangers ever. The Magna Defender, one of the greatest 6 Rangers ever. Loved the Power Ranger Batman look. Tragic backstory, tragic life, very tragic heroic sacrifice, but he is a bona fide badass. Maya, my jungle princess, one of my greatest Power Ranger crushes, and one of the funnest characters on the show. She is one of the greatest Yellow Rangers ever, so of course she's going on Galactic. And last but not least, our top bad girl, Trakina. Really like Trakina. She is cool. She is kick-ass. She's hot. She is deadly. She is one of the greatest Power Ranger villains ever. And I will make her #1 on our Lost Galaxy list just for that. Loved you, Trakina. Really loved Amy Miller's performance. And that sexy Syl armor she got definitely helped. But yeah. This completes our Lost Galaxy tier. Sorry it's so big, but only one-shot villains down here. Take a pic of it if you haven't seen it all. So yeah, thank you guys for joining us. I'm so happy that you enjoy my tier list. Really love doing these Power Ranger shows. Not sure what the next tier list is. I'm thinking about doing Batman. Might do Batman's movies, not his shows, but next Power Ranger show, most likely SPD, but we'll see if these Ranger lists get traction or fan love. But anyway, Lost Galaxy is an awesome show, and it's got a lot of awesome characters. I really love it. Highly recommend it. One of the best Power Ranger seasons ever, and one of the longest too, which made the ride last a whole lot more. See you all on the next one. Alright, bye Shadowlink. So I guess we should wrap up. Remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe, or just tune in for more videos posted here on Wolf Entertainment. I'm your host, Catastrophe, and I'll see you all on the next one. Go Galactic!